in just 15 years. Ma'am, let me know when you want to go to rehab. Otherwise, I think you're a crackhead.
Absolutely not.
My goal is to inspire others to overcome their obstacles. You don't need him and his little raggedy roommate.
Thank you.
All while having a little fun on Mathis Court. You look like you're ready to lie right the first word out your mouth. This is Mathis Court with Judge Mathis.
Suzanne Moore is suing Beverly George in the amount of $465.
All rise. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may be seated.
Ms. Moore claims she made personalized gingerbread cookies for a contest and says Ms. George decided they were embarrassing and threw them away.
State your name.
Hi, my name is Suzanne Moore.
Ma'am?
Hi, I'm Beverly George.
All right, and ma'am, you're suing Ms. George for $465, alleging she owes you this money for the cost of some ingredients that you use for cooking. Start with you.
All right. So I know Beverly here. I've known her for about a year. My wife and I, we moved over to Georgia, and we decided to have our daughter go to a public school there. I am a stay-at-home mom, and so I try and get involved in the school. I do a lot of the extracurriculars, and so I've been trying to meet all of the parents, and I made great friends with one of the parents. Her name's Ellen, and she was a part of Beverly's social club, and she told me that it would be a great way for me to kind of, introduce myself to some of the parents and be a part of this women's social club, and so I decided to join.
Are you still in the club? They ain't kicked you out yet, have they?
They did kick me out.
Oh, so she probably spearheaded it, didn't
yes.
she? She the ringleader. Is it over the cookies that we're suing for today?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you tell me what happened, and I'll let you defend against that.
They have a contest, and this contest that I signed up for was for the dessert section of the evening, and whoever wins got $100 to give to their favorite charity. I, of course, adopted my daughter, so I'm very passionate about giving back to agencies like that, and I was really looking forward to win that $100. So we had a list of rules of what we had to do. We were required to make gingerbread men, and they had to be gluten-free, vegan.
The groups had that rule.
Beverly had that rule.
No, we did not specify. We said cookies.
Pardon?
We said cookies that were gluten-free and vegan. There were some ladies that needed for dietary restrictions.
You didn't mention gingerbread.
No, we did not mention gingerbread.
Okay. Do you recall?
I remember it being gingerbread because me and Ellen were both going to bring gingerbread cookies, and I wanted to one-up Ellen in order to win this competition. I had to go to the grocery store, a specialty grocery store, because I had to make these gluten-free and vegan. So I had to buy vegan butter, gluten-free flour, which were extremely expensive because, unfortunately, vegan gumdrops and all of those things with gelatin just are expensive, and so I had to pay a high dollar for this, but I was willing to do it because I was looking forward to the opportunity of winning that $100 to give to the charity of my choice. And so me and Ellen were competing for this, and I wanted an edge on Ellen, so I decided that a fun way to make these cookies was to give every woman of the social group their own cookie and make it look like them, depict them in a way, and a gingerbread cookie.
Well, no wonder you got kicked out the club. You sound crazy.
Yeah, it took a lot of time.
You sound crazy. What makes you think any woman is going to be satisfied with the way another woman who is not a professional artist depicts them?
Exactly, Your Honor.
It's a cookie. I mean, it's supposed to be fun and joyous. It's not supposed to be perfect.
Not at their expense. They don't want it to be fun at the expense of their self-esteem.
Yeah. Your Honor, I submitted a picture of the cookies for you.
You brought it, and is it on? Oh, you hand it to me, please, Amir.
Look.
He laughing before it even get to me. You know you're in trouble, man.
Anytime the court officer. They're supposed to be fun.
If you can see those cookies,
I like this.
She's depicting us in a light that shows us as...
You trying to mad because she makes all black people. That's what this is about.
It's gingerbread.
This is some racist stuff. You mad because said she made y'all black.
No, look, their noses are white. I use white frosting for the noses. Gingerbread is just a darker cookie.
Well, that was a mistake.
I tried.
Your Honor, look at the hoochie skirts, the beers, and 2 hands. Who double
Somebody got on hot
are we
pants,
in
doctor.
college here?
Who got these hot pants on?
Coming up on Mathis Court with Judge Mathis.
And she threw them away and then served ice cream instead because apparently that's better than my
I quickly
cookies.
threw them out so no one would be embarrassed. No one would see what she did. I was trying to save her face so she could still be part of the group.
And later,
Without any of the owner's permission.
I mean,
And now you want to sue him.
my sister-
Because your sister what?
my sister told me I could put the bag in the closet. I just put it in the
Right, and
wrong
you
closet.
didn't.
if you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to bring your case to court, call 1-888-552-6878.
You're watching Mathis. This is Mathis Court with Judge Mathis.
Mathis Court is back with the case of Suzanne Moore, who is suing Beverly George for $465.
Did anybody complain other than Miss George?
No one complained to me. I actually showed Ellen, who unfortunately didn't make it. I think that's another part too, is that Ellen didn't make it. So I was the only one who brought cookies. And so I should have won the money just because I was the only dessert there. But she decided that she wasn't going to let anyone see my cookies. And she wanted to throw them out and serve ice cream instead.
Oh, so the friends the other group members never saw it.
No, she wouldn't let them. And I
She's
worked
the
all
only one
night.
that made an executive decision, I guess.
Myself and Monica. And I was trying to save her face. I mean, if the other women had seen these.
Monica, there was a second person that saw them?
Monica saw them.
According to her, Monica saw them and didn't like it. But, I mean, they're cookies. They're supposed to be
How
fun.
many
I was
people are in
excited
the
all
group?
day talking
How many
about
people are
them.
in the group?
Well, 19 now.
19?
Now.
I
We
was
had
20. She kicked me out.
Well, how did
So
you
now
all
there's
know
19.
who was who? If it's 19 of you.
So I put them all individually in boxes and labeled them all. Like I spent
19 boxes?
Yes.
Ma'am, you don't think that she should get any reimbursement because you made an executive decision not to use them? Well, why didn't you use them in another way, though? Well, I guess
She
we don't
threw them
want
away.
you. Pardon?
She threw them away. So
She wouldn't even give them to you
No,
and say,
she-
you keep them?
No, she threw them away because she saw me opening them up, trying to give them out, and she threw them away and then served ice cream instead because apparently that's better than my
I quickly
cookies.
threw them out so no one would be embarrassed. No one would see what she did. I was trying to save her face so she could still be part of the group. If the other women had seen this, this would be the talk of the town. And I was just
Trying to save her
It's a
from herself.
cookie.
Exactly.
Trying to save you from yourself. They run you out of town, like she says.
I'm
Not
proud
only
of
would they not want you in the club anymore, they'd have
Listen.
ran you out of town. This is a tough case to
Your Honor, I also
decide.
I have the receipt, if you'd like to see, of all of the specialty ingredients I had to purchase and
You
how
see it,
much they
please,
were.
Amir. This is a hard case to decide because I don't have other pictures to compare it to now.
Well,
You as I'm sorry. Yeah. Why did you have to make her hair in cornrows? That's what it appears.
So I had to only use, I
Or
had to be in the
dreadlocks or
guidelines
whatever.
of gluten-free and vegan. So I only had limited ingredients, right? I had to make my own sprinkles because of this situation.
Why
I
couldn't
make my
her
own
hair
frosting.
be like the woman's hair on the right, which doesn't look good
'Cause she
either?
has dark
but at
hair.
least it's not. She might not. She does not have locks.
No.
Dreadlocks.
Licorice was the
this
only thing I
picture
could
does.
Thank
Look,
you.
I'm not a professional baker. This is a hobby. I thought it was great. I
You
literally
had to choose
licorice.
to use locks.
You're
But you
envisioning
shouldn't
them
have
as
thrown
blocks.
them away. You should have perhaps taken a minute to take them all out the box one at a time.
And have the other girls see them? No.
Go in the back.
I don't want to insult anyone. You know how hard it is to be a woman, especially
I
an
think you
aging
could find
woman.
another way to deal with this, and as such, I'm going to divide the amount in half.
Your Honor,
call it contributory negligence. Yes, ma'am.
none of us get reimbursed for what we do for the group.
But none of us get our stuff thrown away.
We
People
all
enjoy the
contribute
food.
She could have given that to children in the community. She could have given that to to her child who might want to give it to others? No, ma'am, you shouldn't have thrown her things away. But I am going to conclude that this is substandard based on how you depicted her. She has nowhere near dreadlocks, braids, or what have you. That's exactly what that is. So you had to go out of your way to give her dreadlocks, and I hope you don't think you're going out your way to make her look like a black person, as if that's not going to be flattering to her. She'd be very flattered to have locks as a black woman. Am I right or wrong?
You're right.
Thank you. All right, so whatever you thought you were doing, it didn't work. I'm going to give you half your money, though. You shouldn't have thrown it away. In the law, we call it a less damaging means of addressing this. And the damage you caused was throwing them all away. I think there was a less way of causing damage. There was a lesser damage to be caused with a different way of approaching it. As I said, go in the back, take each cookie out, say, here, take these cookies, but I'm keeping these boxes because I don't want my girlfriends to see their names was on this. And so I think you could have done something other than throw all of her things away. $232.50 is your judgment, ma'am. Have a good day.
All rise.
Judge Mathis has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant has been ordered to pay $232.50.
You're something else.
You're a disgrace. I am so glad I am not a part of your social club. I can't believe
I can't believe you're keeping the money that's supposed to go to charity. I mean, not only are you so low to make us depicted on cookies, that you're keeping charity money.
Coming up.
Here you are putting this bag in a room where my daughters play. And not only that, but right where their own art supplies are. So how are they supposed to tell the difference?
Is that true, sir? You're watching Mathis Court with Judge Mathis.
Closed captions. Andy Davis is suing Kyle Foley in the amount of $600. Mr. Davis claims his nieces weren't properly supervised during his visit and says his art supplies were destroyed as a result. Mr. Foley is countersuing for $240.
State your name, sir.
My name is Andy Davis.
Sir, yours?
My name is Kyle Foley.
All right, and you're suing the defendant, Mr. Foley, for $600 for your brother-in-law for art supplies being ruined?
Yeah.
And you're countersuing for $240?
That's correct, Your Honor.
For what?
For damage to a carpet in my house.
All right. Damage to your carpet, you say?
Sir.
All right. Start with you, sir.
I'm suing him because my sister allowed me to come over to his house. He was supposed to watch my nieces, and my nieces end up getting into my art bag.
My daughters.
And I had got booked to do a work job at my friend's restaurant. He knew how talented I was, and he said, hey, bro, hey, my dad has his barbecue restaurant. If you can draw, a pig, some of your art on the walls inside, maybe it would be an opportunity for you, get your feet going. So I took the opportunity, and I was really happy. I came over to my sister's house, and she knew. As I came over, she told me to put my bag inside a closet so that he wouldn't be able to see it, because he has a problem with me carrying any of my artwork, any of my pens, my supplies. So it really happened because she knows how he would react. I hid my bag in the wrong closet because the closet she told me to put my bag inside was filled.
Did you go back to her and tell her that?
I mean, I didn't go back and tell her that, but I've been over the house so many times.
You just went and put it anywhere you wanted in this man's house, huh?
Not exactly.
Tell me exactly then.
There's a guest room that I'm always designated to sleep in. So I went and I put the bag inside the guest room. Mm-hmm. Now,
without any of the owner's permission? Without any of the owner's permission?
I mean...
And now you want to sue him?
My sister...
Because your sister what?
My sister told me I could put the bag in the closet. Yes, I just put it in the wrong closet.
Didn't, and you went and put it somewhere else.
Coming up.
My counterclaim is for $240. For what? For the damage to the carpet, because my daughters got into...
He's being petty.
You're watching Mathis Court with Judge Mathis.
Closed captioning from
Court with Judge Mathis.
Mathis Court is back with the case of Andy Davis, who is suing his brother-in-law, Kyle Foley, for negligence.
Lord have mercy. Go ahead, sir. What do you want to tell me before I throw this case out?
I mean, that's not entirely accurate what he's saying. I mean, he's saying that my wife told him to put it into a specific closet and he put it in the wrong one. I mean, I just heard you say that he just put it wherever he wanted to. I'm not sure that that's the case, but he just doesn't think.
What is the case then? You tell me what you think the case is.
The case is that he irresponsibly placed something. He says that it's the guest room. We normally designate for my daughters Lisa and Destiny's playroom. That's where they normally play, and that's what was going on this day. He put it inside the room, inside of a playroom where they normally have access to all their toys and everything like that, and that's where it was.
What do you think I meant when I said you just put it where you want to?
Right.
He was instructed to put it in the closet,
yeah,
and he put it where he wanted to.
I was reiterating,
where
yes.
it's located.
Forgive me for the miscommunication, but I was reiterating, and my daughters got into it because here you are putting this bag in a room where my daughters play, and not only that, but right where their own art supplies are. So how are they supposed to tell the difference?
Is that true, sir?
I still have permission to come into the house.
I'm asking you, is what he said true regarding your art being located next to theirs? A children's art.
I didn't know that their art was
You put it there, sir.
Right.
You put it there. Why wouldn't you know? You put it there.
Why? I didn't know that their art would be there, and
You saw it. You put it there.
I didn't see their art there. So what?
It wasn't nearby?
It was in the same open closet area.
Sometimes
right
it's a guest
What's
room.
your counterclaim for, sir?
My counterclaim is for $240.
What do you do to you?
Excuse me?
For what?
For the damage to the carpet, because my daughters got into
He's being petty.
The art supplies that you irresponsibly placed in my daughter's area.
How will Judge Mathis rule? Find out when Mathis Court returns.
You're watching Mathis Court with Judge Mathis.
Promotional consideration.
Court with Judge Mathis. You have your bill there?
I do.
What do you have? And a picture, perhaps?
Just the bill.
Okay, there you go. There's that, and there's the damage to the carpet.
All right. Okay, sir. You were instructed on where you could place it in this individual's home. You went against that instruction and placed it somewhere where it was vulnerable to his children's use, and that meaning anywhere you wanted. You went against the request of the resident, and so therefore I'm going to dismiss your claim. And then secondly, I'm going to order you to pay for the carpet. Have a good day. That's my judgment.
All rise.
Judge Mathis has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff has been ordered to pay $240.
Well, this is what I came here for, to show you that you need to take responsibility for your actions.
You suck, bro.
Say all you want.
Head this way. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis, presider. May be seated.
Mr. Evans claims his brother never told him about lottery winnings their mother sent for both of them, and says the defendant kept the money for himself.
State your name.
Tremaine Evans.
Sir?
Marcel Evans.
All right, and you are suing your brother for $1,000, alleging he stole your share of lottery winnings?
Yes, sir, he did.
All right, start with you.
Just to give you a little background, Judge,
yes,
we moved to California when I was 16. My brother was about 10 years old. We're originally from Louisiana, so it was hard.
What part?
Lake Charles. We're from Lake Charles, Louisiana, yeah. We came here to Compton. So, you know, growing up, and going to high school in Compton was hard.
What year?
What year? 2016.
That you came to Compton?
Oh, no, that I graduated high school.
Yeah, when did you move to Compton? What year?
Oh, we moved to Compton in 2006, I think it was.
Okay, I'm just trying to put it in context.
Yes, sir.
Moving from Lake Charles,
small
which
town.
is not as challenging,
not at all,
or a tough city,
not at
as
all.
Compton.
And not at all.
And so
small
you moved
town.
to Compton in 06. How old were you?
16.
All right.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Yeah.
Whether you can crib walk or not.
Oh no, I can't. I can't crib walk.
How you gonna be in Compton at age 16 and can't crib walk?
I was into the book.
American crib walking. He came up in Beverly Hills. Show me a crib walker, man. Stop that. You're going to have to pay. Stop. You can't play. You can't do that. You can't emulate these gang members unless you're paying.
No, Your Honor,
you're going to have to pay for that. All right. I'm not going to make you crip walk. I don't want you getting in trouble.
No, sir. I was more so into the books. I graduated high school with a 4.3 GPA. So, coming from Compton, that's a lot.
Yes, that's amazing.
But my mom, she always made me like the man of the house. I had to do different things. I had to work my way up. But for my brother, everything was handed to him. He didn't have to get a job. Mom
He's 6 years younger than you?
6 years younger than me, yes, sir.
Or are you the only two?
We're the only two, yes, sir.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, everything.
For sure.
Exactly. Everything was always handed to him, but...
Did she call him the baby all the time, even as an adult?
She called him the baby all the time, yeah. And I had to get my own job. He has a job at the city as a bus driver, just like she did before she retired and moved back to Louisiana. So she ended up getting him a job, and and then I had an unplanned kid. I had a son. And so in order for me to save up, and the way the rent is out here is a lot. So my brother, he still lived in the apartment that that we grew up in Compton. So rent is cheap. So I'm like, oh, let me go and stay with my brother. He has that extra room. Let's see if we can do this. So I hit him up, and he said, yeah, we can do it. So I was going to pay half of the rent, $888 a month. And so I go to the apartment. It wasn't what I expected. Nothing in the apartment, not even a sofa. He still had the same twin bed we had since high school. So I was like, no, I don't think I can do this. But I still gave it a try. So it was hard for me because I was like, I can't bring my son over. Got in a new relationship. Can't bring my girl over here. You got to bring your girl somewhere. I'm like, I can't bring my girl over here. And then I just ended up saying, no, I can't do it. So in September, I told him, I said, bro, I'm going to move out. Moved out November 10th, like 10 days into the month. Still gave him $300 of the prorated amount.
You are such a hater. He is such a hater. You give me your version of how things came together with the two of you.
What he said was partially right. We did actually move from Lake Charles, Louisiana. He was 16. I was 10 at the time, so I was the younger baby. And from there, we moved out here to L.A. and everything.
And they didn't force you to be in the... You didn't join up with one of the crews?
No, I never joined up with one of the crews. I always was like to myself, I was the good kid. So
tell me how you avoid it, because you got a lot of young people, their moms make them sit there and watch me so that they can get some insight on how I overcame the streets. And so you all tell them, the ones in Compton and ones in gang-infested areas, how do you avoid it?
Church. Every day.
Okay.
Every day church.
I've heard that many, many, many times.
Every day.
That is how you escape the environment. Young folks and mothers, take them kids, force feed it to them, make them go to church. So, what's your mother's name?
Jackie.
Jackie, thank you. Let's get Jackie a hand. She knew what to do. One of the toughest areas in the country.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm proud of you guys and your mother.
Coming up on Mathis Court with Judge Mathis.
He agreed, if you send me all the money, I'll give Tremaine his portion of the money. He never gave it to me. He said, well, you stay with me for November, I'm taking it for the rent.
That's right.
But, Your Honor.
And later.
I was driving it. I could tell that the brakes needed to be pressed a little harder. That's his responsibility. It's his car.
But you're in it. It's your responsibility to avoid killing yourself. With Judge Mathis.
Mathis Court is back with the case of Tremaine Evans, who is suing his brother, Marcel Evans, for bad debt.
So, your relationship with your brother, was it always sour, or you were just a baby and you can see him looking at you like my brothers used to look at me? Yeah, we're going to get this when Mom go to work. We're going to get to his behind. How was it?
So it was always sour. We was always getting in fights all the time, whether it's over toys, over game systems, whatever the case may be. It was a couple times that we got into fights at school, and he pushed me up against the locker, and I had to get stitches from that. And then it was one time he broke my phone and it dropped off the dresser, and I asked him, hey, can you pay for this and cover this, because it was only $200 to cover for it, for the screen. He didn't want to cover for it. So I met him at the club and we started tussling.
You colder than my brothers. My brothers would take my stuff, but at least they'd give it back when Mama came home. But he just broke your stuff or took it all together.
It was an accident, Your Honor.
So tell me about these lottery winnings that you're suing him about.
So my mom called me. I missed the call. She calls my brother tells him, I won a lottery scratch off, and he agreed, if you send me all the money, I'll give Tremaine his portion of the money. He never gave it to me. I reached out to him for the portion of the money. He said, well, you stay with me for November. I'm taking it for the rent.
That's right.
Your Honor.
Y'all bullying me all my life. Now you want to come over here and live off of me. You didn't want to live off of me when you was throwing me against that locker. You didn't want to live off of me when you was getting them stitches. Now you want to live off of me. Now you need me. You need him now. Now you talking about you want some money from him. You sound like a fool. But I got to go by the law. Let me hear him out. All right, so
Well,
go ahead.
Well, he agreed to the fact that he would give me the $1,000.
He told your mother that?
He told my mother that, yeah.
How do you know?
She told me. She sent me, I have evidence. She sent me the...
You
yeah.
agree that your mother told you
Okay.
that?
Right.
All right.
Okay, yeah. So he told her that, and then I also sent him the $300 for the prorated amount of rent.
Okay,
already.
you moved out?
Yes, sir. Whenever I moved out.
Why? Why'd you move out?
I moved out because I was going to go stay with my girlfriend.
Got it.
That
All
way I
right.
can bring my son over. It was a more suitable place.
Good. All right. When you went to your mother, what did she say?
She was upset with me because I had never told her thank you for the money that she had given me, but I had never received the money. So that's how I figured it out that she had won. I would have never known.
Why don't you think he should get it, sir?
I don't think he should get it because back in September, he told me he was going to be moving out. And on top of that, he didn't want to give me the rest of the money that he owed me, which was $888. So
He
that's
gave
what
you a 30-day notice that he was moving out?
Correct.
Well, that's all he's supposed to do. But he stayed 10 extra days after that?
Correct. He
So
kept
you
coming
charged
back.
him prorated the charge?
Correct.
And how much would that have come to?
$738.
So how are you going to take $1,000 then?
Stealing, thief.
He owes me. He didn't even pay for. He didn't pay for like the utilities and nothing like that because that equals up to $300
He's
some
been
dollars.
stealing since we were kids.
The utilities for that month, or he never paid the
Oh,
utilities?
he always paid the utilities, but for that month he did not pay the utilities. He
Okay,
left.
so I see why. Then, yeah, you have to add that in as well. That would come to about $1,000. You rounding it off.
Correct.
You can't round nothing off when you go to court. You got to show each item that you are suing for. So, unless you got some electric bills over there, we down to $700.
Oh yes, I can actually show you that
All
right now.
There you go. Hey, he's like me. My mother, I'm the only one that went to church school, so I was the smartest. He's smarter than you. He brought his evidence. All right, he sure has it. Yeah. You got it itemized here. The issue is, however, sir, it was a gift from Mom to both of you.
Yeah.
And you can't, for lack of a better term, hijack his money for what he owes you. You can't take his gift. Say, you owed me, so let me get that gift.
Yeah.
Nah, it's mine. We even. No, that's ultimately what it would be referred to as self-enforcement of a debt that you believe is owed to you. No, you have to sue him like he is suing you. However, you didn't do that. You took it on your own without asking. That was his. You can't take somebody else's property just because they owe you. I don't know if folks know that or not. You can't do that. Had you sued him, you'd have won. Because you've proven that he owed you. But he sued you, and he got your behind this time. Little devil around here trying to get everything you can out of Mama. Mama sent some money, you gonna keep it. You've been getting everything all your life, so the little bit of money you are supposed to get, you should get it. Am I right or wrong? You're gonna get it today. $1,000 for the plaintiff. Have a good day.
All rise.
Judge Mathis has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant has been ordered to pay $1,000.
I just want to say you don't deserve that money. That's my money.
No, it's my money, and I got exactly what I needed.
Yeah. You can go back to that wretched girlfriend you have.
Coming up.
Less than 5 minutes later, I get a FaceTime call. She says that the car has been damaged. And then when she FaceTimes me and shows me the damage, I realize that she actually ended up hitting a pole.
You're watching Mathis Court with Judge Mathis.
Jose Garcia is suing Wendy Gomez in the amount of $2,575. Mr. Garcia claims his friend borrowed his car to run an errand and says Miss Gomez refused to split the cost of the repairs after she crashed his vehicle into a pole.
State your name.
Jose Garcia.
Ma'am.
Wendy Gomez.
All right, and sir, you're suing Miss Gomez for $2,575, alleging she owes you this money for crashing your car?
Correct, yes, sir.
Start with you.
Yeah, so I'm really disappointed today to be here because I decided to let Wendy borrow my car to go do me a simple favor of going to the liquor store. So we go to this party. It's our friend Angela's summer annual barbecue party. And obviously we're all drinking. She doesn't drink. So I'm at the party already. We are running low on alcohol. So we decided to ask the only person who is sober at the party to do us a favor and go to the liquor store, which was less than a mile away, and get us some drinks. Now, she left. I want to say less than 5 minutes later, I get a FaceTime call. She says that the car has been damaged. And then when she FaceTimes me and shows me the damage, I realize that she actually ended up hitting a pole. And as you can see here, Judge, I have the evidence for you.
You see it, please, Mayor.
Yeah, I made the entire folder.
So she states that she hit the pole because my brakes weren't working. I told her I didn't want her to touch the car anymore. I decided to call a tow truck to have the car picked up and taken back to my house.
All right, let me hear from you, ma'am.
I was driving it. I passed by 2 stop signs. I could tell that the brakes needed to be pressed a little harder. I just figured that I would grab it really quick and make it back to the party, but that obviously didn't happen.
And drive on with faulty brakes.
Yes, but that's his responsibility. It's his car.
But you're in it. It's your responsibility to avoid killing yourself.
Coming up.
So I asked her if we could please go half and half, if she could help me cover the damage, and she denied, says that it's my responsibility, that the car is my damage, and that I drove with faulty brakes.
You're watching Mathis Court. This is Mathis Court with Judge Mathis.
Mathis Court is back with the case of Jose Garcia, who is suing Wendy Gomez for property damage.
It's not his responsibility to stop you from being killed because you're driving knowingly driving a faulty vehicle. You didn't mind?
No.
All right, good enough. Thank you for telling me that. Go ahead. You let me know she had knowledge of it and she took the risk. Go ahead.
I complained about the brakes plenty of time, Your Honor. I told her she could hear the squeaky brakes.
Had he told you about them before?
He joked about it.
Okay, ma'am. Go ahead.
She's been in my car plenty of times. My brakes would make squeaky noise, and she would even call me out on it and say, how about we turn on the radio so we don't hear the squeakiness?
She acknowledges
so she's pretty
that
much
she
aware
knew.
of it, Your Honor.
Knew before she got in, and then knew within feet.
Correct.
Who drives around on faulty brakes knowingly? Go ahead.
I had to pay for out of pocket. I was going to go through my insurance with it, but I know that if I used my insurance to pay for that damage, I would have paid way higher rates after that. So I asked her if we could please go half and half, if she could help me cover the damage, and she denied, says that it's my responsibility, that the car is my damage, and that I drove with faulty brakes.
Well, let me give you the law on your offer. She didn't accept that offer. Therefore, you go back to the entire amount. And that's what you're here to doing today. And with regard to the insurance, a person is not required to use their insurance when there's an accident at all, whether it's their fault or the other person's fault. You gave her some type of deal, just give me half. Nope, not giving you a dime. Nothing.
Nada.
I knew the brakes were faulty, but I just kept going. What the hell?
How will Judge Mathis rule? Find out when Mathis Court returns.
You're watching Mathis Court with Judge Mathis. On the other hand, give you a little more law. If a person is doing something for your benefit, they have to be grossly negligent or extraordinarily negligent, not regular negligence. If it was for mutual benefit, then simple negligent law applies. But she's doing this for you. So you have to prove that it was gross or extraordinary negligence in this case. And I'm not going to conclude that. I think it was simple negligence. I think she was negligent to knowingly drive a car which she knew had a brake problem Gross negligence, perhaps if you told me she was doing donuts in the street, knowing that she was on faulty brakes. That's gross negligence. Drinking alcohol and acting irresponsibly will cost you money, and in this case it's costing you $2,575 because I must dismiss your claim. She was not extraordinarily negligent. Have a good day. Claim dismissed.
Judge Mathis has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's claim has been dismissed.
I'm very disappointed, and things are not going to be the same between us.
You set me up to be sued, and you need to stop drinking.
You can head this way.
Look like you ready to lie right the first word out your mouth. This is Mathis Court with Judge Mathis.
Zachary Melbourne is suing Huma Saget in the amount of $9,800.
All rise. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may be seated.
Mr. Melbourne claims his fiancée called things off the night before their wedding and says it was her father's influence that doomed the day.
State your name.
Zachary Melbourne.
Ma'am?
Huma Saget.
All right, and sir, you're suing your ex-fiancée, alleging that your wedding was canceled and you couldn't get your refund?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Start with you.
So I'm suing my ex. She canceled the wedding the night before.
Where you know her from?
Oh, I'm sorry, sir, Your Honor. So I've known her for about 2 years now. We met through a mutual friend. His name was Chris. She was a new coworker with him. And
how did things go?
You know, it was good at first. We were a little rocky. Like sometimes we'd argue and stuff like that. But we went to the driving range. That's our first date, and it was a good time. And I showed her how to do the stroke and everything like that. And we just kind of hit it off from there. And it was good. But so about a year into the relationship, I decided to marry her, or to ask her to marry me. So I took her up to my favorite trail, and then when we got to the top of the mountain, I got on one knee and showed her the rock.
All right, good. That sounds romantic, and that's about a good time frame, a year. You proposed. How long after proposing did you all intend to marry?
Your Honor, we intended to marry a year afterwards.
Okay, so during that year, how was it? After you proposed, which was 1 year into it, how was the next year?
So, Your Honor, we picked a venue, and we set the wedding to be.
How were you getting along?
Every now and then we'd have arguments, and sometimes, I get angry. But it's just because I forget things and things like that.
You keep mentioning arguments. Argument in the beginning every now and then. Argument once you got engaged every now and then. I'm hearing too much arguing.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, she sometimes she gets on my nerves. She'll make fun of me for forgetting things and stuff like that. And you
have a bad memory.
Sometimes I forget little details.
And let me hear from you. You tell me about the relationship.
Yeah, our relationship was good from the start, but then towards a year after he proposed to me, he started arguing with me all the time. He said he was going to get groceries, but then would forget, but then would get mad at me, and things became really...
Get mad at you about what if he forgot?
He was just angry from work, and he thought we had food at home.
No, I'm talking about you were referring to groceries. He would get mad at you if he forgot to pick up the groceries.
He's like, oh, you should have texted me. I was like, I told you earlier in the day. Why do I have to text you? You should know. Mm-hmm. And it was all this back and forth all the time, and then he would blow up sometimes. Eventually we made up, but it was just frequent arguments all the time.
Frequent arguments all the time. Yet you all decided to continue with your plans to marry.
Yeah, because we would work things out eventually.
That's a bad idea. If you're arguing all the time, you shouldn't get married. It could be because it only steps up. Were you all living together?
We were living separately.
And still arguing all the time. Well, it was going to get 3 times as worse if you lived together and you were going to be around each other most of your day and night. Yeah, that might not have been a good idea. And you say he would get angry and he has a bad memory?
He has a bad memory. He has a bad temper. I mean, all of that.
All right. Did anybody ever discuss him going to get all that checked out?
No, we didn't talk about it.
How long?
Well, Your Honor, during the wedding planning, it was a pretty stressful time. I wanted to just elope. I thought that would be the easiest thing to do, and so we could just take that money that we would put towards a wedding and put it towards a house, a down payment.
Okay, and that was the underlying problem, perhaps you're saying, for your anger, was you were kind of stressed about the money you have to come up with and the different ideas that you had. I can see that. You wanted to elope, to save money, to establish yourself. She wants this grand wedding to spend all the money. Got it. My wife did the exact same thing. Her dad offered us, because they were a lot well off, and this was 85. Her dad offered us, he said, I'll either give you $50,000 or you can use it on a wedding. I'm like, we can buy a house. We can get our life started together. I want a wedding. Now this is a smart man. Offered him. He said, I'll take that money, Dad. And he's doing pretty good because he took the money over the big wedding. And
divorced after 8 months.
Coming up on Mathis Court with Judge Mathis.
She had 5 or 6 people also. I slept on the floor. I gave them my air mattress, my bed, my couch, and it was very stressful.
Nobody could afford hotels, even cheap hotels.
If you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to bring your case to court, call 1-888-552-6878.
You're watching Mathis Court with Judge Mathis.
Closed captioning provided by
Court with Judge Mathis.
Mathis Court is back with the case of Zachary Melbourne, who is suing Huma Saget for breach of contract.
Okay, so tell me what happened. Why did you all break up and end the wedding?
Yes, Your Honor. The planning was really stressful, as I said. About 3 to 4 days prior to the wedding, all of our family moved in or came to town. And, a lot of them stayed with me. So I had like 5 people in my apartment. I had a 1-bedroom apartment. She also had a 1-bedroom apartment. She had 5 or 6 people also. I slept on the floor. I gave them my air mattress, my bed, my couch. And it was very stressful.
Nobody could afford hotels, even cheap hotels. I mean, they got hotels now you can get for $75.
I was already
Where you are? In L.A.? Where were you getting married? L.A.?
No, Richmond.
Richmond, Virginia? Yeah,
yes,
you can get a $75 hotel at the such and such hotel, a motel. Yeah, okay. How long did they stay?
It was until a couple of days after the wedding, Your Honor.
Yeah. Somebody would have had to have some money and get a double bed in the motel hell, whatever it is, whatever it was called. Now 5 people, no. In a 1-bedroom apartment, no. Ain't that much love in the world. Go ahead.
Well, Your Honor, it was very stressful. Her father, Bruce, who's sitting right there, he wanted to see the venue the day before the actual rehearsal.
He wanted to see it?
He insisted on it.
Okay, how much was he putting on it?
He didn't put anything into this. He didn't pay a dime.
And you didn't say what you got on it?
No, I didn't. I didn't want to make any waves.
You don't know what to do. Anytime somebody start asking you about things that are going to cost you money, and they want to delve into it and talk about their preferences, that's when you say, okay. What you got on it? What you got on this? Oh, I ain't got nothing on it. Okay, well, when you get something on it, then I'll let you have a little input. Okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
Remember that. So what did happen?
So I showed him around the venue. It was beautiful. It was right there in Richmond. We had a nice, big field. There was next to a vineyard. There was a lake. We were going to have it outside, and I was insisting on having it outside because there was more room out there. And Bruce wanted it to be inside because he hates the heat, and he thinks that it's going to make everybody sweat to death or something like that. So we got, he came into the venue, he started complaining. He was just talking about, like I said, the heat, how everything is too close together, how there's not enough space, how the food's terrible. And it was really getting on my nerves. But the one thing that really stuck with me is that he told Huma that basically that if she would have married somebody with more money, then she could have had a nicer venue.
He said, how do you know he said it? You heard him say
I overheard him say it to her. Your Honor. And that really bothered me, but I kept my mouth shut. Because I was just like, you know what? If I'm just with him for the next few days,
there you go.
I won't have to see him for 6 months after that.
There you go.
Just get done with the wedding and just move on.
Yeah, because I got news for you. Everybody that gets married has some in-laws that they don't like and they don't want to be around, and family members in particular who are delving into their business. And then most times it's the mother-in-law. This time it was the father-in-law. Most mother-in-laws got something to say about you, either in your face or behind your back.
Grandma and granddad with you.
No, that's the one thing about my mother-in-law. I love her so much. I've never heard her say or question anything about me or say make any criticism. And have you?
No. I just know they watch every single show, so I wanted to see what you had to say.
Okay, well, yeah, and they watch the show, and I love her to death, and she's a great mother-in-law. She might be a little nosy every now and then, but other than that, she's a great mother-in-law. But I do have others who I have to keep away because they ain't got a little too much input, a little too much criticism, with a little too little money. And it sounds like father-in-law might have been an issue and have that issue. Let me hear from you, sir. Come on, step up if you like. State your name.
Bruce Saget, Your Honor.
What do you want to tell me about your observation of the wedding and of the gentleman who was going to marry your daughter, Zachary?
I don't think he's a bad person, Your Honor. He just has a short fuse, and he unloaded on me at the wedding rehearsal dinner in front of my daughter and all of her family with expletives that I can't repeat in this courtroom, Your Honor.
All right.
And to be clear, I didn't tell Huma not to marry him. That was her own decision, but I support it 100%. And the reason this was a wedding that never happened was his fault, not her fault.
Yeah, I keep hearing repeatedly about your temper, sir. You give me your description of what happened during the preparation for the wedding and your dad's involvement. But you heard what he said. You tell me your version.
So during the prep, I could notice that Zach kept getting annoyed and frustrated by my dad making comments about it being warm and not enough space for him to walk me down the aisle. And he was just constantly sighing and getting so irritated and frustrated. And then what really broke the camel's back was when he suggested, hey, let's have the ceremony part indoors. The reception will still be outdoors, but we'll just do the ceremony part indoors. And he's like, no, we're not going to do that. How can you just come in here and tell me whatever to do? And he blew up. And it was so embarrassing because my family was there, my friends were there, and I didn't appreciate him yelling at my dad like that. My dad is such a kind man. He just wants what's best for me, honestly.
Coming up.
He got up there and grabbed the microphone and he decided he wanted to give everybody a speech. And he starts talking about, back in my day, a man used to take care of his woman. Basically implying that I won't be taking care of Huma.
You're watching Mathis Court with Judge Mathis. This is Mathis Court with Judge Mathis.
Mathis Court is back with the case of Zachary Melbourne, who is suing Huma Saget for breach of contract.
And I was like, you know what? I can't marry a man who has such a short fuse and is constantly angry. And I had to call off the wedding. I didn't feel safe.
Some of the things he
That's
said.
the only part of the story, Your Honor.
Some of the other part.
He got up there. So during the reception, he got up there and grabbed the microphone and he decided he wanted to give everybody a speech. And he starts talking about, back in my day, a man used to take care of his woman. Basically implying that I won't be taking care of Huma. And because she makes more money than me, and somehow that's, that I can't provide for my wife. And that really ticked me off.
Yes,
and
sir.
so, and the other thing was, he did get up there and ask everybody to sit inside, but he went up there and took it upon himself to do a vote and have everybody raise their hand if they want to go sit inside or not. And I'm like, that's not my, this is my wedding.
Sir.
It's not your wedding.
No, sir.
Your Honor, like we have a lot of elderly people at the wedding attending, and I don't want people to pass out at the wedding.
Taking a photo.
No, sir.
You orchestrating a vote.
All I did, Your Honor, was
on the man's wedding.
All I did, Your Honor, was I asked the elderly people who were sitting, as it happened at one table, if they would prefer to be indoors for the ceremony in the heat. Because it was.
But did you say raise your hand?
Very hot. Yeah, I said if you'd rather be indoors, just honestly, so that he could see.
How many people raised their hand? What percent of the people raised their hand?
Well, all of the older people.
All the older people did.
Raised their hands.
Okay. Coming up.
I did grab the microphone from his hand. That was the final straw. I was just done with his antics, and I told him, I was like, you're just a man child. You can't even hold on to your own wife, because his wife's a drug addict who left him a long time ago.
You're watching Mathis Court with Judge Mathis.
Mathis Court is back with a case of Zachary Melbourne, who is suing Huma Saget for breach of contract.
All right, so tell me how you all ended it. Tell me exactly what happened. You said to him, or he said to you, it's over. Tell me.
Your Honor, I did grab the microphone from his hand. That was the final straw. I was just done with his antics, and I told him, I was like, you're just a man child. You can't even hold on to your own wife, because his wife's a drug addict who left him a long time ago. And that's probably a little bit extreme, but at the time, he was insulting me. He'd been insulting me the whole week, and I got fed up, and I used a lot of expletives that I won't repeat here, but.
And then who ended it?
So
who said it's
I ended it because I was like, this is it. I'm not doing it. I said we're over.
All right.
And I stormed out with my bridesmaids.
I'm glad you did, but I'm curious to why you allowed this money to be spent and you made all these plans knowing that he had this temperament problem. That's all I've heard. I'm getting the impression, quite frankly, sir, that you might have some issues that you need to get checked out. Because some issues also are attached to bad memories. Some issues that cause people to explode uncontrollably and too often than the average person. I always use this term. If a person does abnormal things, they're abnormal. Mm-hmm. And from what I'm hearing, most people don't do that unless they're abnormal.
How will Judge Mathis rule? Find out when Mathis Court returns.
You're watching Mathis Court with Judge Mathis.
Promotional consideration.
Judge Mathis. And when you're abnormal, you go get it checked out. And it might be socially traumatized or what have you. And then they might say you have a little chemical imbalance or you have a mood disorder. And the only way we can address this mood disorder is medication. So I suggest you get it checked out because you certainly have an anger problem based on what I'm hearing and based on what you're saying. So you caused this, and since you caused it, you're going to have to suffer the consequences. He didn't cause it. You blowing up like that caused it. That's what I believe, and thus I'm going to dismiss your claim. Have a good day.
All rise.
Judge Mathis has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's claim has been dismissed.
You broke my heart, and now you broke my wallet.
You know what? I think you should really take anger management classes before another wedding is called off.
Yeah, you really need to grow up.
Hey, watch your mouth, old man.
Oh, okay, let's have this one.
Absolutely not.
My goal is to inspire others to overcome their obstacles. You don't need him and his little raggedy roommate.
Thank you.
All while having a little fun on Mathis Court. You look like you're ready to lie right the first word out your mouth. This is Mathis Court with Judge Mathis.
Lydia Adler is suing Mateo Dominguez, the amount of $3,875.
All rise. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may be seated.
Ms. Adler claims her plans to ring in the new year on both sides of the international date line were dashed and says her irresponsible ex-boyfriend is to blame.
State your name.
Lydia Adler.
Sir?
Mateo Dominguez, sir.
All right, and ma'am, you're suing the defendant for $3,875, alleging he owes this money because he ruined your New Year's Eve celebration?
That is correct, Your Honor.
All right, where do you know the gentleman from?
Well, I went to university.
This is a test of the emergency alert system. During emergencies, WPIX will provide important information for New York City and its surrounding areas. This concludes this test of the emergency alert system.
Your friends before you develop feelings.
No, I thought he was cute off from the start, but I think I really developed feelings like a month in when we started hanging out more. So yeah, we'd hang out one-on-one. It took him a year to ask me out finally.
He's been watching the show.
You gotta be smart.
That's right. I always say 1 year before you know a person and whether you really want to either move in with them or marry them. Because you can hide what?
A crack habit.
A crack habit for up to a year. You can hide it. You'll never know. You can get away, but within a year, you'll catch them slipping up. You'll go in that bathroom and you'll see the window open. And then you'll see a little whatever on the window ledge. If you want to know how I know so much about crack, I've been crack traumatized. I lived in a crack house my first year out of college. My brothers, unfortunately, God bless their soul, one sold crack and the other one used it. So I didn't have any place to live when I first came back from college. So I was traumatized. I saw hundreds of crack addicts over the course of 2 years. So that's why I talk about crack so much. And folks find it entertaining. But my therapist, when I said, I'm just so obsessed with people smoking crack, I just think everybody smokes crack. Doctor? So we went over my history. You know, that's what therapists do. They go over your childhood and ask you all that. So when we got to the part, I said, well, when I graduated from college, oh, what did you do when you graduated from college? I moved in with my brothers. Oh, what was it like over there? One was selling crack, the other was smoking it. Oh, that's your problem, Judge. You've been traumatized.
I've been accused. I've been accused.
You've been on crack too, right?
I've been accused.
Yeah, you've been accused of crack. So it ain't just folks on TV.
I snuck out one night in high school, came back, and you said, I know what you've been doing. And I said, oh, you know about the girls? He said, crack.
No question about it. So you all heard it firsthand. I accuse my family of crackheads, everybody.
So how is that the first thing that comes to your mind?
As I'm traumatized. All right, so you began to develop feelings. It took him a year to hit on you after he determined that you weren't on crack. He said, okay, I can hit on her. The judge said give her 1 year. And so I'm going to get to him now.
Yes, Your Honor. So it took about, I would say, I developed feelings for sure within, I don't know if it was that fast, maybe 2 to 3 months, but obviously got to take my time with it. And I'm also just a shy person. I'm not very outgoing. I'm not going to go throw my feelings out there and get shot down. So it took a year. Then that, I knew by the time I asked her, it was going to be a yes. So took my time with it. And like I said, we hung out with our mutual friends and whatnot. So we got along from the start. I think I should have seen signs about what was coming a little bit earlier in the relationship as far as what she would do. We'd go to dinner. She'd forget lipstick, and it was the end of the world. It was also my fault. It was she'd forget her sunglasses for the car ride. My fault. She'd flip out over it. So,
coming up on Mathis Court with Judge Mathis.
It just kind of got to be too much when he started forgetting everything. I'm very punctual. I like to. Hey.
That we
Hey, I'm not going to say it's a problem, but...
I plead the fifth.
Get killed in memory cells with Judge Mathis.
Mathis Court is back with the case of Lydia Adler, who is suing Mateo Dominguez for travel expenses.
So, 1 year in, you asked her to date. She said yes. How did that go?
From the start, it's like any girl. She's the one. I thought she was amazing. She cooked, cleaned, hung out with me. It was a good time.
So was your mother. Sorry.
Thank you. No, let's not do that. But how does that make a woman special? Because she can cook and clean.
Because not every woman could cook, and she could really
Not
cook.
every man can cook. So what does that mean about him?
Oh, I can't cook.
Should she start dating you? Should a woman determine whether to date you based on whether you can cook and clean?
No, you're
Well,
right.
then why are you determining whether she is a competent or a good girlfriend, good woman, because she can cook and clean? That shouldn't be a part of the factor.
It wasn't part of the fact. She went above
Why
and
is that
beyond.
first thing out your mouth? You didn't say she was smart. You didn't say that she was a great communicator with your friends. You didn't say she's a nice person. You didn't say whenever I take her out and take her to dinner, what would happen? She would be very nice to the waiter. And anytime you see a person nice to the waiter, that typically means they're a nice person. You didn't say any of that. Why did you like it? Because she can cook and clean. Because she had Clorox. Every time I walk over the house, she had Clorox on the shelf, and I knew that she must be all right. So let's go again. What did you find impressive about her?
Oh, she was really nice to the waiter. She communicated through the friends great. It was phenomenal.
There you go. And she was smart.
Yeah, she was very smart.
There you go. All right. Those are the qualities. And she was you just said all those things. All right, ma'am. How did it go with you? What did you feel about the relationship?
I was having a good time at first. As you can tell, I wasn't just cooking and cleaning for him all the time, which I don't mind. I like doing things for the people I care about. It just kind of got to be too much when he started forgetting everything. I'm very punctual. I like to. Hey, I'm not going to say it's a problem. But
I plead the fifth.
Get killed in memory cells.
And
you got a bad memory? You smoke pot?
No, sir.
Yes, you do.
Concussions. It's concussions.
You used to.
I played sports. I got like 4 or 5 concussions.
They smoking weed right after the game.
But, Your Honor, I don't believe that's an excuse because now, we have phones. You can put a reminder in your calendar, and I'm there reminding him all the time of stuff. Like he would forget his wallet on our first date, or multiple dates he'd forget his wallet, and I'd have to pay.
That's strategic.
That's strategic.
In front of our friends, too. It was embarrassing. And then I have to remind you.
Every single time.
I have to remind you. I don't want to have to remind you to pay me back.
You didn't have to remind me. I paid you first sometimes.
Sometimes.
You reminded me when...
Sometimes, not most of the time.
You would remind me 20 minutes after we get out. I didn't even have my shoes off, and you would remind me.
That's a little dramatic.
Oh,
okay, that's not true.
You sound a little dramatic. Sorry, Your Honor.
That's all right. I want y'all to get it out so I can see who in love the most. Y'all, it's equal. Y'all equally in love the way you all going back and forth like a couple. All right. And how long did that last?
Did which last?
Your dating.
We dated for about 6 months.
And what happened that caused the breakup?
Well.
Did it have anything to do with this Hawaiian New Year's Eve celebration you're suing about?
Yes,
Go
Your
ahead,
Honor.
tell me.
So basically what happened was I wanted to spend New Year's with my friends in Guam, a lot of my college friends.
And you all were dating?
When we were dating, yeah.
You intended to include him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, so I actually have the text.
You said with my friends.
I actually have the text messages here.
You didn't say he and my friends.
Yeah, sorry. I actually have the text messages here if you want to see where I invite him to go to Guam with me. I said I wanted...
All right, let's see it, please, Amir. Officer Amir?
I asked him what he wanted to do for New Year's Eve, and I suggested we go to see my friends in Guam, and he actually said he already had plans in Hawaii, which I didn't know about. But
20 hours ahead of Hawaii.
Exactly. So I figured I wanted to spend New Year's with my boyfriend, and so I did the research, found out about the time difference, and I figured we could have 2 New Year's Eves together. That was the plan. We were going to go to Guam to visit my friends, who he knew because we were in a friend group right out of my college, and we're both from Portsmouth, New Hampshire, actually, and I went to UNH. So we do have a lot of mutual friends. So I was going to visit some of my college friends in Guam, and then we were going to go visit his friends in Hawaii. And so Guam was a lot of fun. We went to a nightclub. That was really fun. It was a great time. He didn't forget his wallet for once, which was great. But the night before we went to the airport, he was forgetting everything. I had to remind him about his toiletries, his phone charger.
You could buy a new toothbrush.
Okay.
They have them at airports.
Okay, but we stayed in an Airbnb, okay? I'm not a morning person. He's the morning person.
All morning. Maybe I would remember it if you would.
I was not screaming. No. We were both hungover, Your Honor. So.
Speak for yourself.
Coming up.
You way too young for early onset Alzheimer's. I think that happens in your 60s. I used to think I was getting it till I remembered that I used to smoke a lot of weed as a teenager. Mathis Court with Judge Mathis.
Mathis Court is back with the case of Lydia Adler, who is suing Mateo Dominguez for travel expenses.
So I was trying to clean up the Airbnb, and because that's the nice thing to do. And he tends to not really care about how his actions affect others. So I was cleaning up for him. I was packing his carry-on for him. And I put his passport in his carry-on. And so when we got to the airport, we had everything. Everything was packed. Everything was fine. And we got coffee. And I checked that he had his carry-on and everything, which he did. But by the time we got to the gate, somehow he didn't have his carry-on anymore. We split up and we went looking for the carry-on. They were calling our names over the intercom. It was pretty stressful. And eventually, like 5 minutes after they stopped calling our names, he finally found his carry-on.
All right, so why are we here today?
Because we
How did he ruin your New Year's Eve?
Because, Your Honor, we missed our flight to Hawaii.
Okay, what about the next one?
It was the last straw for me. I didn't want to pay again for Hawaii.
Well, you chose not to.
Thank you.
You chose not to.
Thank you.
But he made us miss our flight.
What's that about? You smoked weed as a kid, teenage weed?
He's always forgetting things and making me pick up the slack.
Something is going
and that was
on,
the last straw for me.
Because how old are you?
24, Your Honor.
Yeah, you way too young for early onset Alzheimer's. I think that happens in your 60s. I used to think I was getting it till I remembered that I used to smoke a lot of weed as a teenager. And science says that weed smoking as a teenager affects your memory in the future. And I'm here to testify. and so that's why, what you grinning at, boy? You can't half remember nothing either. Might not have been crack, but...
Coming up.
Did you look into another flight?
Yes, Your Honor.
Could you have taken it?
Yes, Your Honor. So I actually booked the next flight. I asked her to go with me. I wanted to go on the next flight to Hawaii.
You didn't really want me to go with you.
You're watching Mathis Court with Judge Mathis.
Closed case. Mathis Court is back with the case of Lydia Adler, who is suing Mateo Dominguez for travel expenses.
So you described what happened, sir. And is this go ahead.
Yes, Your Honor. So as far as the night before, we definitely partied. And was I forgetting some stuff? Yes. Toothbrush, like I said, you could get that at the airport. You could get that in Hawaii. I wasn't really too worried about it. Kind of laid back.
You have attention deficit.
No, sir.
I'm trying to find a reason why you're forgetting everything. Attention deficit, you don't focus as well on everything you do. That you need an emotional attachment to remember things because your mind is either not working aggressively or it's working too aggressively. And so that's why I'm asking that. But go ahead.
No, Your Honor, I was just, maybe it was the alcohol, I don't know.
You don't care about how your actions affect others.
Let him finish, ma'am. Go ahead. Tell me about what occurred, though. You didn't. What occurred at the airport?
So, yes, Your Honor, we went and we got the coffee. We had the bags. We split up, and when I found it, I called her immediately. I rushed as soon as I could to get to the gate. She was already at the gate. She was a little bit closer. I got there. She said the plane was already gone. She was very mad, and I understood why. Obviously, missing a plane isn't something that people love to do.
Did you all try to get another flight? Did you look into another flight?
Yes, Your Honor. So
could you have taken it?
Yes, Your Honor. So I actually booked the next flight. I asked her to go with me. I wanted to go on the next flight to Hawaii.
You didn't really want me to go with you.
My friends were still there. They were already in Hawaii. They were texting me. I had plans. One of them was going to pick me up, trying to figure out when I was going to land and what was going on.
How will Judge Mathis rule? Find out when Mathis Court returns.
You're watching Mathis Court with Judge Mathis.
Promotional consideration provide
court with Judge Mathis. Ma'am, you missed that flight and cost yourself $3,000, $3,800 because you were mad at him. You even said it. You said, I'd had enough. There was another flight. Instead of getting the other flight, you said you had had enough, mad, angry, and so I'm going to lose my money.
Yes, however, Your Honor, I do have, the flight wasn't for number of hours, and I do have a job. His job, he has his own.
Oh, so why were you going there in the first place if you had to get back to your job?
Because I got New Year's.
3 or 4 hours. How long was the next flight? 4 or 5? What?
Yes, sir. 4 hours.
4. So if 4 hours would have made a difference with your job, you shouldn't have gone. Because flights are 4 hours late all the time. Claim dismissed. You chose not to take a flight coming up because you were mad.
All rise.
Judge Mathis has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's claim has been dismissed.
You're never going to find someone else.
Last time I'm dating crazy.
You're a man-child.
It's okay. You'll never get better.
Head this way. After you.
Thank you.
My life has proven that it's not about where you come from, it's about where you're going. From a jailed youth who had my record expunged to becoming the youngest judge elected,
the Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding,
in just 15 years. Ma'am, let me know when you want to go to rehab. Otherwise, I think you're a crackhead.
Absolutely not.
My goal is to inspire others to overcome their obstacles. You don't need him and his little raggedy roommate.
Thank you.
All while having a little fun on Mathis Court. You look like you're ready to lie right the first word out your mouth. This is Mathis Court with Judge Mathis.
Stephen Moss is suing Nora Reese in the amount of $10,000.
All rise. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may be seated.
Mr. Moss claims the defendant mistook their friendship for romance and says Ms. Reese ruined his marriage by telling his wife that they were in love.
State your name, sir.
Hi, Your Honor. I'm Stephen Moss.
Ma'am?
Hi, Your Honor. I'm Nora Reese.
All right. And, sir, you're suing the defendant for $10,000, alleging she caused a divorce, saying she interfered with your marriage and caused a divorce. Is that what?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Give me some background. This is going to be juicy.
First,
take your time. I'm on all of this mess.
I met my wife, Sylvia, at Tulane University. I was fortunate enough to get a football scholarship, and I went there, and she was one of the cheerleaders. When I first saw her, I knew she was the one, and we were together every moment of my whole college career. Then after I graduated, I was fortunate enough to sign a professional contract. When tragedy struck and I had a career-ending injury, she was still there for me.
Tell me what profession again?
A quarterback.
Quarterback? Okay.
Yes. So we decided to move to Nashville. That's where my wife was from. And I started a construction company, a general contractor, and my wife became a secretary. We worked together. We did everything together. We got a couple of dogs and a couple of cats, the white picket fence, and everything was wonderful. 40 years of this was just wonderful.
40 years?
And no kids. I received a call from some of my buddies from New Orleans. They said, Stephen, come on down. Let's have a little party. Let's meet up together. So I went down to New Orleans.
How long ago was that?
That was over a year ago.
Okay.
And so I went down there, and that's when I saw this beautiful girl at the end of the bar. I had a moment of weakness, and I messed up.
Was it the defendant?
No, it wasn't.
Okay,
go ahead. Someone else.
All right, go right ahead.
So I felt bad, and the whole plane flight home, I felt bad about it. I knew I had to tell my wife about it. So when I got home,
you should have felt bad.
And I did.
And I don't know about that second part, but you should have felt. You should have felt bad and just straighten up. I don't know about
that wasn't the bad part.
I don't know about offering information, huh?
The bad part was having to tell her.
That's my point. Yeah. I don't know. That's one extra step I don't think most men would do. How did she react?
She was devastated. And I felt horrible. She wouldn't talk to me. She wouldn't smile. She wouldn't look at me. After, I don't know, maybe a month, I begged her. I said, what can I do? Is there anything I could do? And she suggested, how about marriage counseling?
There you go.
That's when I bought this marriage counseling package. And I bought 12 sessions. And after the first couple sessions, things were going good. She actually talked to me again.
Good.
And then I would take daily walks because I have a new knee, Your Honor. And that's when I met the defendant. And she was gardening out in her front yard. And then we would talk a little bit.
There you go again. You didn't have enough? You just got out of the doghouse. You just got off the couch.
This was purely friendship.
You should have walked the other direction.
Well, we became friends, and it was strictly friendship.
How? Tell me how you became friends.
Okay,
how did you even meet the woman? She's working in her garden.
She said
you
hello
walking
to me.
by. Huh?
She said hello to me.
That's all it takes.
And I said hello back. Eventually, we'd go for a little walk, and she invited me in for coffee. And she recently had a tragedy with her husband.
How many days later?
About a week or so later.
So, why were you guys walking together?
Her husband passed away from pancreatic cancer.
Mercy.
So yes, it was awful. So she would talk a little bit about that, and I would talk about my marriage situation and how devastated I was.
I want to know how you all went from saying hi to let's walk together.
Okay.
Because everybody says hi when you walk by, and that's a courteous thing to do.
She had noticed that I wasn't walking with my wife anymore.
And she said, oh, I can work that out. Let's talk about it.
Yeah,
she said, let's talk about it.
We talked about a little coffee. We talked about that. We talked about her situation, and we went for a walk.
Let me hear from her. I don't know if it went like this. Ma'am, you give me the background here.
So, Your Honor, this isn't the true story, all of the story. There's more to this than said hi. I came to Tennessee because, like he said, my husband, we had been together 10 years, you know. We went to high school together. This was my forever. And he knows, you know, I recognized his sadness.
Coming up on Mathis Court with Judge Mathis.
You all didn't get intimate? You never became intimate?
No, we never slept together, Your Honor. He wasn't telling his wife. He was hiding me from her.
And later.
How do you know she was back there?
I watched.
Okay,
I
why
got
didn't
cameras
you
all over
say
me.
employee?
Yeah.
How do you work?
It was a busy night that night.
Well, then you really needed her.
If you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to bring your case to court, call 1-888-552-6878.
You're watching Mathis.
Mathis Court is back with the case of Stephen Moss, who is suing Nora Reese for emotional distress.
I felt for him. I felt
You know
that
what
pain.
was wrong? What do you mean you felt for him? His wife might have been tired that morning. What are you talking about? You felt for him.
He was in the doghouse. She took the dog for a walk.
It sounds like what happened. Go ahead, ma'am. But yeah, you're talking about what you recognize. There's nothing to recognize. His wife may have went home to visit her mother here for a week. How can you just determine and feel sorry for him because he's walking by himself as opposed to with his wife that one day? Go ahead, though.
Sorry, Honor. That's whenever I, started talking with him, and that's whenever he confided in me. And he told me of his issues. He told me about his infidelity.
He brought it up.
He brought it up. He brought up the infidelity, that he had cheated on his wife, that he was going through marriage counseling already. And, we share a connection, and it was just, I don't know. It's just
so
more
the
than what
walks
he's
turned
saying.
into something else?
We were sharing a bond, and it was more than just a walk. We were having an emotional relationship, Your Honor.
All right, you all didn't get intimate? You never became intimate?
No, we never slept together, Your Honor. He wasn't telling his wife. He was hiding me from her.
What is the $10,000 for? What you want some money from this woman for? You done brought her all your burdens, laid your burdens down on her?
After I paid for the 12 sessions for counseling. After the 4th session, she sent an Instagram to my wife. And if I may present this to you.
Oh. Part you've been waiting for.
That's right. That's the juicy part. Here we go. Hi, Sylvia. Love comes in many different ways. And I just wanted to let you know that I'm in love with Stephen. And I know that he feels the same way. We do our morning walks together and spend a lot of time together. He's my soulmate, and he's meant to be with me. What made you want to do this?
Your Honor, it was already a failed relationship.
Why didn't you tell him to tell her? Why didn't you tell him? Tell your wife. Hey, I want your wife to know.
He gave me the impression he was manipulating me. He was making me feel like, we were something more.
No. Before you sent something to his wife. So why didn't you say to him, hey, tell your wife we're in love?
I feel like he wasn't ready, so I had to shoot the gun and I had to do it.
And you see where that got you?
Your Honor, the very next day I sent her these texts.
Let's see it.
Here goes some more.
The very next day and the day after that.
Nora, how could you do this to me? We were never in a relationship. Why did you lie to my wife? Stephen, I feel emotionally connected to you, and you're my soulmate. I haven't felt this way about anyone since my husband. I'm in love with you, and I know you love me too. You are delusional. I'm not in love with you. My wife doesn't trust me anymore, and it's all your fault. I'm not responsible for your infidelity patterns. You were the one who messed up first by cheating on your wife. Then you cheated on her again with me. She had the right to know. You're nuts. I was never with you. You are not my soulmate, and I don't love you. Stop this. That's what you get. I bet you won't stop nowhere else saying hi. That's what you get.
I'll walk a different way from now on.
That's what I told you in your first 5 words.
Walk with your eyes closed.
Right, with his eyes closed. That's right.
And earmuff.
So the $10,000 is for what we do call alienation of affection. The problem we have is that's an archaic law, and it's only on the books in 6 states. So if it occurred in those places, or if one of you are a resident, then it's a cause of action. But can't enforce something that is not on the books anymore unless you are living in that state or it occurred in that state. Resident or the action occurred there. Neither one, so you can't win today. That's what you get for walking and being so kind to these ladies and confiding in this woman about your relationship with your wife. And she saw that vulnerability and took advantage of it. That's what men do too. Men do that a lot lot to women. And they break up or let somebody pass, and ooh, don't let the woman's husband pass. Sir, your claim is dismissed. This law is not enforceable in either of the states that you all live in or the state that it occurred in. Have a good day. Claim dismissed.
All rise. Judge Mathis has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's claim has been dismissed.
Steven, he's still in denial. He doesn't take accountability for anything.
Oh, you're delusional.
We're in love and he's...
She's a home wrecker.
Coming up.
Absolutely. We have two
It is,
servers.
absolutely?
Yes.
At the bar?
Yes.
All right, good enough. So I see you
don't serve all 200 people at the same
No,
time.
thank you. You don't have to tell me anymore. You've told me everything I need to know. You're watching Mathis Court with Judge Mathis.
Bartender Liz Armstrong is suing Reggie Peck in the amount of $360.80. Ms. Armstrong claims a group of customers walked out on their tab and says Mr. Peck unfairly docked her pay to cover the charges.
State your name.
Yes, my name is Liz Armstrong.
Sir?
My name is Reggie Peck.
All right. And ma'am, you're suing the defendant for $360.80, alleging that he withheld your wages for an unpaid tab from a customer?
Yes, sir.
Start with you. How long have you been working there?
I've been working there for about 1.5 years, Your Honor. I go to school full-time for accounting, and I work 2 jobs to pay for it. This is my second job, and I've had a couple of problems with Mr. Reggie.
What is his role? What is his title? Or
He's the manager,
Okay.
the boss, whatever he wants to call himself.
No, you have to call him what he is. Is he the manager or a shift manager or the overall store manager?
He's the overall store manager.
Okay, well, you got to give him even more respect. Go ahead.
This particular night, we're working at the bar.
Let me get some background from him first about you as an employee, sir.
Okay.
Your Honor, she is just trying to just lie about everything. She's going to school for accounting, but she missed $360 because she's back there fraternizing.
How do you know she was back there?
I watched.
Okay,
I
why
got
didn't
cameras
you say
all over my
employee?
Yeah.
Come do your work.
That's what I did. It was a busy night that night.
Well, then you really needed her.
Yeah.
If it was a
I did.
busy night.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you're in the wrong field.
Coming up.
Okay, so this is twice as many?
Twice as many, Your Honor. I was the only bartender, and we had 2 servers.
You're the only bartender?
Yes.
For 200 people?
Yes, sir.
You're watching Mathis Court with Judge Mathis.
Closed captioning provided by
Mathis Court with Judge Mathis.
Mathis Court is back with the case of Liz Armstrong, who is suing Reggie Peck for unpaid wages.
So tell me how he owes, ma'am.
Okay, so this particular night, Your Honor, the bar was over capacity. We usually have about 90 to 100 people in the bar, but this particular night, it was like 200 people.
How many are usually there?
About 190 to 100 people.
Okay, so this is twice as many?
Twice as many, Your Honor. I was the only bartender, and we had 2 servers.
You're the only bartender?
Yes.
For 200 people?
Yes, sir. And I was a little overwhelmed. I heard a loud crash in the back in the kitchen. So I left my post to go check and see what was going on. Once I got back there, I noticed that the busters had dropped some glasses. They told me that they were going to fix everything, not to worry. I grabbed a rack of glasses and I carried them back to the front. It didn't take me more than about 30 seconds to a minute. And I was right back at my post, Your Honor. I had a couple of clients. There were like 4 of them. There were 4 friends. And they ordered bottle service. They ordered 2 buckets of beer. And
at the bar?
At the bar, yes. When the crash happened, I left them with their ticket. And I just went on to business as usual. It was busy. I was passing out drinks. I'm taking people's bills back.
You serving somebody on this far end, and now you're there. You're the only bartender.
Correct, Your
There's nobody else to keep an eye on anything.
Correct, Your Honor.
Sir, what do you want to tell me?
Well, sir, I just think that she's not paying attention. And when she went in the back,
was there 200 people?
Pardon me?
Were there 200 people there?
Yes, it was a little bit more.
Was she the only, little bit more than 200? Was she the only bartender?
Yes.
For over 200 people?
Yes, sir.
And you think that was sufficient?
Absolutely. We have 2
It is,
servers.
absolutely?
Yes.
At the bar?
Yes.
All right, good enough. So I see you
don't serve all 200 people at the same
No,
time.
thank you. You don't have to tell me anymore. You've told me everything I need to know.
How will Judge Mathis rule? Find out when Mathis Court returns.
You're watching Mathis Court with Judge Mathis. Don't need him and his little raggedy roommate.
Thank you.
All while having a little fun on Mathis Court. You look like you're ready to lie right the first word out your mouth. This is Mathis Court with Judge Mathis.
Bella Grimes is suing Sean Duell in the amount of $4,600.
All rise. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may be seated.
Ms. Grimes claims her mud run partner was too focused on winning and says when she asked the defendant for help, he yanked her arm, which dislocated her elbow.
State your name.
Bella Grimes.
Sir?
Sean Duell.
All right, ma'am. You're suing the defendant for $4,600, alleging he owes this money for you having your arm dislocated during a competition?
Yes, sir.
All right, start with you. Where do you know the gentleman from?
I know the gentleman from about 5 years back. We met through mutual friends. About once or twice every month we try to get together just to have movie nights, game nights, and Sean is actually really close friends.
With other people or
Yes,
alone?
with a group about 5, 6 of us that we've all grew up with. Whenever we go to the bars or dinner, he kind of ends up leaving a little early due to training with triathlons, marathons.
Due to what?
Due to training, yes.
Okay.
Yes, Your Honor. So he trains for marathons, triathlons. He talks about it a lot. It's something that he's very passionate about. So when he is there, I've gotten semi-close with him, but that's all I really got to really know about him. He actually offered to have a movie night at his house, and we were all pretty excited because a lot of us have never been there. So when we went to his house, we saw all these medals, like nothing shy of like 3rd place, 2nd place. You go into the living room, there's pictures hanging up of him on a podium just...
He got a trophy room.
He got a trophy room.
Were there any first place trophies?
Oh,
it said second and third.
All place trophies. He's keeping anything 3rd place and up. As long as he's on the podium, it's a prize. And I actually really admire that, being an athlete myself. Because
What
of that.
background do you have in athletics?
So I used to play volleyball, and I grew up playing volleyball. That's how I went through college. That's how they kept my grades up.
How much running did you all do in preparation?
A lot. I mean, we're playing beach volleyball at that, so you're conditioning on the sand. I've never done a marathon, though, so that's always been on my bucket list. And because Sean talks about it so
How long was the longest distance have you run when preparing for volleyball?
I'd say about like 4 miles, and that's at a good pace, nothing competitive.
4 miles. All right. Go ahead.
So because Sean always talks about how often he runs and how much of these competitions that he usually does, I thought, okay, if there was ever an opportunity to do something with him, I would love to do it because it's always been on my bucket list to do so. So not long after
Why
that.
you got to do it with him?
Because I'm not that prepared and I've never done it, I just kind of wanted to go in with someone that had a good idea with what they were doing, but while kind of making it fun at
So
the
you
same
wanted
time.
to go with him?
Yes.
That's why you wanted to run there. You wanted to be his woman.
Nah. No.
You said. I just asked her. I said you wanted to go with him. She said.
Because he's good at what he does, you know? You're going to want to swim with Michael Phillips.
You want to go with him as his girlfriend?
Nah, I actually don't even like
I
men,
guess in
Your
my
Honor.
generation, we refer, when you say so and such go together, that means they are a couple.
Trying to make him my homie. We're
So
trying
when y'all, okay, y'all,
Yeah.
There you go. Say it like that.
Yeah, I'm
then.
trying to go with my
That's
bestie,
the,
Your Honor.
all right. That's the modern thing. Because you talking my language now.
Right. My
Such and
bad.
such going with such and such. Oh, they go together?
I'm going to go with the homie. That's right.
And let me hear from you. Give me some background. So we've gotten to the point of you wanting to do it, run alongside him, and you can tell me what the competition was after he lets me know the background.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have a background in fitness. I'm actually a manager at a gym. On my free time, all I do is just fitness. I go on for long runs. I bike a lot. I go to the gym to do weights.
How long have you done this?
For about 12 years. I started off really young with track and field, and that's just been my entire life. Just running, doing the 800 meters, the 400 meters.
How often do you work out?
6 days out of the week.
All right. So give me some background on your girlfriend.
We, like she said, we met up with.
Like you said, y'all didn't go together. I said, give me some background on your girlfriend, and he proceeded to tell me about y'all.
Just because he wants that to happen doesn't mean it's happening.
Right.
Go ahead, young man.
We met through a mutual friend, and then she sends me a text message asking about going to this mud run. And I've had experience doing mud runs, and I've done about 18 of them. And there was a $250 fee. I actually have evidence of the text message. I told her that I'll be willing to do it, but you know that I'm competitive. And running is everything to me. Fitness is everything. I don't like just doing running just for fun, because who wants to run just to lose?
But I told him I wanted to have fun. It's my first event. It's a mud run. We're going to be crawling around.
What was her response when you told her you were competitive and you don't want to just do this?
So she already signed herself up. She knew how I was as an individual.
Coming up on Mathis Court with Judge Mathis.
I'm bringing him a coffee. He doesn't talk to me. I did exactly what he needed. I'm already nervous. I just wanted to have fun with my friend, but I thought it would be a good idea to do it.
Let me tell you something. One of the biggest superstars in the history of basketball never spoke to his teammates. Rarely. Kobe Bryant. Rarely.
If you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to bring your case to court, call 1-888-552-6878.
You're watching Mathis Court with Judge Mathis.
Mathis Court is back with the case of Bella Grimes, who is suing Sean Duell for personal injury.
He said that I just want to have fun, and then I proceeded to tell her in the message that, okay, just keep in mind that I'm competitive.
What message? You have it?
Yes,
That's what
I do.
you're referring to? Let me see that, please, Amir. And did she respond after that?
She did. She said that, okay, I'll do my best. And
I'll sign us up and you can pay me half later, cool? I'll do my best.
Yes. So I took that to heart, and I gave her this whole training regimen, and I asked her if we could meet up to do our training together, and it didn't line up with her workouts or with her school schedule and such. And I told her, all right, well, there's a very important part that you need to focus on, which is the wall run, which is at the very end of the mud run race.
Wall run.
Yes, and I gave her a location and everything on how she should practice, when she should practice, and I just expected her to do all of her work.
Okay, so let me get back to her. Ma'am, what was the expectation and what did you all discuss regarding your preparation?
Your Honor, our preparation was that I was going to do the best that I could. I'm an athlete. Working out is nothing that you really have to tell me to do. I love working out. However, my work schedule, I work at a high school, and then I coach volleyball, a high school volleyball team after. So my schedule is 6 a.m. I don't get home till 8. Because I knew how important this was and how persistent he was on making this a thing, I got up an extra hour and a half early, went to the gym, did everything I needed to do. I'm already in good shape, but I did know that I need to build my endurance and my cardio for this race.
He said he told you.
He gave me a training workout from what he usually does, because he trains marathon.
Well, he never told you directly out of his mouth or by text, this is going to be tough, you're going to have to do this amount of training.
He gave me something to train on and said it would be helpful for me to use.
Did you?
I did what I could in the gym. He also told me.
Did you do everything he suggested?
Not everything.
Why?
Because there's just some things I feel like, because he's more able, he trains for this kind of stuff every single day. I don't. I play my body.
Yeah, but you didn't recognize what you might need for this activity?
No, I 100% did. And when I was able to do something, I did.
When you were able to practice, you did, because you're suing him, saying he caused something to happen to you.
Right.
So that's why I'm asking all these questions.
Right.
Were you informed of the intensity of the race? And then did he give you outline or advice on what type of preparation and how much preparation you needed to do, and whether you did that? So what has he done to you for you to sue him?
In the beginning of the race, the gun goes off, and he's already in a weird mood because the night prior, I asked him to go to dinner. Now, this is taking place in a...
It wasn't just dinner. She brought up drinking as well, too. And
to go get
Hold on, did you?
Dinner and a drink.
Okay. Go ahead, preparing for a marathon, right? Go ahead. So what did happen to you after drinking all night and preparing for a marathon? Eating and drinking and preparing for a marathon.
We didn't drink. So when we got there, because we had never been to the city that the marathon was taking place, I wanted to explore and have the fun aspect of the race that I didn't get the full 2 months I was training for it. I wanted to go try out a new dinner place. I just suggested dinner and drinks, not with the intention of necessarily trying to drink and get drunk before the race.
But you're an athlete, you know that you're not supposed to drink at all or anything like that. It's just carbs, electrolytes, and then just straight to bed.
And that's okay, and which is why you didn't want to do that. I didn't force you to do it, and we didn't do it. I did exactly what you asked me to the night before.
Bringing that up just shows like you didn't have commitment to it.
Because I wanted to eat and just have a
it shows you
drink
that
with my
weren't
friend.
committed, ma'am. Go ahead. What else you want me to know?
The next morning I'm trying to talk to him. He's being very standoffish. I did exactly what he asked the night before. That's fine. You're still standoffish. You're focused. That's your words. That's my word. That's fine. So we go, and I'm bringing him a coffee. He doesn't talk to me. I did exactly what he needed. I'm already nervous. This is the first time I'm doing something like this. My whole intention of this, which is what I stated prior, is that I just wanted to have fun with my friend, but I thought it would be a good idea to do it with him.
Let me tell you something. One of the biggest superstars in the history of basketball never spoke to his teammates. Rarely. Kobe Bryant. Rarely.
And that's okay. I mean, before the games as well as an athlete, I had my own thing, and I could have mistaken what he was doing.
You're saying this as if it was something wrong with them not talking to you when you bring him coffee. You're acting like he's being rude towards you when he's only practicing his focus routine.
And I'm taking this personally because of how he's been acting the days prior to this event happening.
Yeah, because you want to eat and drink. Yes, he wants to win, ma'am. Go right ahead.
So we go to the race. The person starts the race. The gun shoots. He starts zooming. He's basically leaving me in the dust. I'm trying to get a good pace. Again, I don't know how fast we're supposed to go. I'm just trying to keep up with him. I'm getting winded. I'm not as fast as him.
You're getting winded. You only had some time. You didn't have enough time to practice. Go ahead. So you're getting winded.
Right. And so I'm getting a little tired. But without all that, we're still in place to finish top 3, so I'm keeping up with him pretty well.
Coming up.
He's angrily and aggressively yanking my arm up to the point where it dislocates.
No.
Mind you, this whole other time I'm still seeing everyone.
You said he pulled your arm out of place.
My elbow dislocated.
You're watching Mathis Court with Judge Mathis.
Mathis Court is back with the case of Bella Grimes, who is suing Sean Duell for personal injury.
We get to the wall. The wall is really hard. He gets up it pretty easily. Mind you, this whole time he's yelling at me to catch up. I'm the reason why we're losing, even though I am pushing and trying my absolute
wasn't
best.
that hard. I actually have footage of how tall the wall is, unlike the one that I told you.
What happened at the wall?
He gets up it super easy. I'm trying the best I can. This is after 12 miles, 11 obstacles. Again, I've never done anything like this before.
That's what the training regimen was for.
And I trained. I just didn't do everything
Correct.
by the
You
book.
didn't do enough. Go ahead.
Correct.
We heard that.
And I'll take that. This wall is something that it's probably a little hard, and I overestimated it for sure, or underestimated it for sure. By the 6th, 7th failed attempt I have, I'm asking him to help me up. He's already yelling at me, saying I suck at everything. I'm the reason why we're losing, even though we're still in place to finish top 3. We're still standing on that podium. I'm still pushing as hard as I can during this race, and so I asked him to help me up. He's angrily and aggressively yanking my arm up to the point where it dislocates. Now there's other teammates and other people helping them up. Mind you, this whole other time I'm still seeing everyone.
You saying he pulled your arm out of place?
My elbow dislocated.
You tell me what happened, and then we'll look at the wall. Well, you want to look at the wall first?
Yeah, please.
So I'll have it in context.
Please.
Let's see. How tall is the wall?
15 feet. It goes from 10 to 15, so that's the 15 feet. And as you can see, usually you start off way in the back and you're going in at a full sprint, and then you grab the top and then you pull yourself up.
Coming up.
She didn't want to do that at all. I asked her multiple times.
I was hurting. I was worried
And I
about the
offered to
feeling
pick
in my
you up.
elbow that I've never felt in my life.
I offered you.
Have you ever picked anyone up before? You're watching Mathis Court with Judge Mathis.
Closed caption
with Judge Mathis.
Mathis Court is back with the case of Bella Grimes, who is suing Sean Duell for personal injury.
You had her practice or recommended
That's what
that
I
she
recommended
practice
to
on
her.
some
And I told
on
her
that
that's-
precise
Yes, sir.
activity?
Yes, Your Honor.
And did you?
I never got to the wall.
Got it.
And
Go ahead.
So that was the most important part, and I told her that you need to practice on the wall. It's the most important part. So she comes in first run, and she practically almost hits her face because she just jogs into it. And she comes back down,
It's
she
pretty
tries
hard
it
to hit your
again, the
face when you're
second time.
jogging. You have to kind of be
Excuse
going
me,
fast
I'm
to
not
hit
done
your
talking.
face.
Excuse me. Second time,
Make it make sense.
she goes, it's still practically a jog, and I'm like yelling, Bella, Bella, come on, you got this, Bella, just continue, just try. And people are like, we were almost at the top 3. People are just coming by, I'm getting frustrated. So, of course, you could imagine I'm getting upset. And I'm just yelling at her like, come on, Bella, we got this, just get up. And then she didn't ask for help until her 7th attempt. So on her 7th attempt, she actually takes her arm out, and I grab her, and I pull her up, and I'm ready to go. I look back, she's already on the floor, and she's like wheezing and crying, and she's going, Sean, 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 and I'm like asking her what's wrong, and she says, I think that my elbow is dislocated. And I offered to pick her up so we could finish the last half of the mile. She didn't want to do that at all. I asked her multiple times.
I was hurting. I was worried
And I
about
offered
the
to
feeling
pick
in my
you up.
elbow that I've never felt in my life.
I offered you. I've dislocated.
Have you ever picked anyone up before?
I have.
Did those people have elbow problems or arm
they
problems?
haven't. And it's usually because when you pull somebody up, they have this form where you're kind of locked.
How will Judge Mathis rule? Find out when Mathis Court returns.
You're watching Mathis Court with Judge Mathis. Mathis Court with Judge Mathis.
If she would have read the entire training regimen, you know that like upper body strength is everything.
No. If she'd have read it, what would she know about being pulled up?
To lock your arms, so that way they don't.
There's something that says that specifically.
No, but it's on there that she needs to focus on.
No. If it doesn't specifically say do that to your arms when you're being pulled up or when you're going up, then no, she would have no way of knowing that. You knew, and you looked at her arm, and you saw her arm wasn't like that. Yet you pulled her up anyway. That's where you made your mistake. If you didn't see her do that, you should have said, nope, I can't touch you until you do your arm right because it's going to break your arm. But you did it anyway. Judgment for the plaintiff. You knew that her arm was in the wrong position. You did not tell her earlier that she must train specifically for that to have when she's being pulled up so that she doesn't harm herself. You saw it was in a position where she would harm herself, and you pulled it up anyway. Judgment for the plaintiff. Have a good day.
All rise.
Judge Mathis has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant has been ordered to pay $4,600.
Makes me really sad that had to happen for me to realize you weren't a good friend.
I wouldn't consider you a friend. If
I wasn't
you
training
brought me
for
to-
the Olympics. I wanted to do something fun
And
with
you know that I don't go for anything lower than third
I told
place.
you I want to have fun.
Head out this way. Grab your belongings.
You don't need him and his little raggedy roommate.
Thank you.
All while having a little fun on Mathis Court. You look like you ready to lie right the first word out your mouth. This is Mathis Court with Judge Mathis.
Jasmine Castle is suing Jason Booth in the amount of $2,550. Ms. Castle claims her boyfriend was cheating on her and says after she confronted him, Mr. Booth not only split, but stuck her with the rent.
All rise. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may be seated. Both litigants have been sworn in.
Thank you. State your name, ma'am.
Jasmine Castle.
Sir?
Jason Booth.
All right, and ma'am, you're suing the defendant for $2,550, alleging he owes this money for unpaid rent?
Yes, that is
Start
correct.
with you. Give me some background on your association.
Yes, so we met in Dallas, Texas. That's where we're from. I'm a school teacher.
How long ago?
3 years.
And you're both school teachers?
No, he's a car salesman. I actually met him. He sold me my Toyota Camry.
You are a school teacher?
Yes, I am.
What level?
4th grade, elementary.
Okay. The most important?
Yes.
4th grade is where you're able to best measure the future academic achievement of children. All right, good. Good to know that you do that. All right, you all met 3 years ago. And how was that when you met, and how did you all then?
It was wonderful. It was a whirlwind romance. We moved in together after.
How long? After knowing him, how long?
6 months.
That's why y'all get in court. You know this man for 6 months you move in with him. At least give it a year, but I guess a year, 6 months, not a whole lot of difference. I'm all right with a year, but I can't judge people, but a year, well, that's what I would feel about my children. 6 months, how did it go that first 6 months?
It was beautiful. I had a wonderful time with him, and I ended up seeing different messages, and he kept things from me.
At what point what month or year in did you start seeing suspicious messages?
This was about a year and a half in. I started to see suspicious messages, and he went to have drinks with a female coworker when he said that he would come straight home, and so I believe that he's cheating on me.
All right. Let me hear from you, sir.
Your Honor, after dating her for about 3 years, the relationship descended into a strange, toxic cycle of constantly being accused of cheating and stalking. She tried to put an app on my phone to see where I was going and see what I was doing.
How long into the relationship?
I would say, about maybe like a year and a half in. That's when I
Why do you think she waited so long to do that?
Well, because sometimes it takes time to see a person's true colors, what they're really like,
That's a good point. You can hide a crack habit for a year for sure. Was he going to the bathroom a lot with the window? When you go into the bathroom, was the windows open?
No.
He didn't get up and come home late at night with a story?
No.
Every other night? Disappear for the weekend? None of that? Okay, so we know he's not a crackhead.
No, he's not a crackhead.
But you can hide things for an entire year without your mate or partner knowing. Okay, so she saw your true colors within a year and a half. Got it. What are your true colors?
My true colors, I'm a hard-working car mechanic, and I'm a loyal and faithful man and boyfriend.
Okay, and she saw that.
Unfortunately, she did not. The incident
you said she would. You said after a year and a half, she would know your true colors. It was a year and a half. Okay, did she know your true colors? She was with you a year and a half. What are your true colors? I'm a great man. I'm bigger than Abraham, more honest than honest Abe. Abraham Lincoln got nothing on me. Such and such and such and such. So he said a year and a half, you got suspicious based on what you saw.
Yes.
He says a year and a half, you believed him to be Abraham Lincoln. Well, honest Abe. I'm an honest man, a hardworking man, I'm this and that and the other. So why do you think she questioned you then, Abe?
Well, honestly, I believe I began to see some trust issues, I believe.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm. A relationship is all about trust.
Yeah, I'm not hearing about it. You don't have to describe a relationship to me. I've been married for 40 years. I know a lot about that. All right? Let me ask you about you, not about a relationship, about your relationship. Why did she become suspicious of you? You're the one just said it. Unfortunately, distrust comes up. Okay, why did she distrust you?
Because I was unhappy because I was being stalked and constantly being accused of cheating.
She distrusted you because you were unhappy. Hey, man, what did you ultimately discover?
So I discovered after following him to his job that he went to have drinks with a female coworker at a bar. I followed them to the bar, and then I also saw suspicious text messages. So I feel like he betrayed my trust. And
what did he tell you when you approached him about it?
Basically verbatim the same thing he's saying now, that I'm crazy, that I stalked him, and then he just picked up and left. I suggested counseling, even couples counseling. I don't want to break up. I wanted to be with him, so he just picked up and left, and so now I'm left with the rent.
Prior to the you catching him in the act, what it sounds like the case is, were you all having problems? He says he was unhappy. It sounds like he's saying he was unhappy already. And that's the excuse a lot of men use. I'm unhappy. That's why I reached out to her. Because I needed somebody. You just wanted you something from another woman. You know, unhappy. You do all you want for a man and give him everything he wants. Make him every dinner 3 times a day when dinner's only eaten once. You can lay every roses out for him every night in the bed. You can do whatever you can, and the man is still go and cheat if he's of that character, and it'll have nothing to do with you. So it sounds like to me he was probably already seeing this woman, because you're saying on the first encounter, the first time you bust him,
yes,
he moves.
Yes, he picks up and leaves and calls me a stalker and calls me crazy, and I feel like he betrayed my trust. So I appreciate you saying that, Your Honor.
After I left the bar, where did I go? Home. I didn't do nothing with this woman. We went to the bar. She's my
You was
coworker.
scared that night.
No, I wasn't. She's my
said
coworker.
she stalked you. You was worried about getting stalked for real that night. Tell me about why you're suing him for $25.50.
I am suing him now because there were 3 months left on the lease. And so since my credit was better at the time we got together, my name was on the lease and we said we would go half. So I'm like, okay, great, fine. With him leaving, I got my own new place now, which is something that I can manage financially, but I still would like to be reimbursed for the 3 months.
Sir?
Your Honor, when I got home this night, this woman threw my mattress out of the second-story window. Is that something we want to teach the fourth graders?
You need to keep your day job. Let me ask you,
She threw it out of the window and told me that I need to go sleep with the animals.
Sir. I got you.
So I said, it's my time
Your
to
Honor,
go.
this woman, she threw my mattress out last night. I didn't ask you any of that. Save that speech for when it's time. Now, answer my question. Did you move out without notice?
No.
When did she give you the notice to leave?
The night she accused me of cheating and told me and pushed my mattress out the window and told me that I should sleep with the animals.
But she did not evict you as a tenant. She was throwing you out that night for cheating on her. Those type of temperament issues occur frequently with arguments, but they do not allow you to escape your obligation to the tenancy.
My name is not on the lease.
I know, counselor. It doesn't have to be. If your name is not on the lease, but you are a tenant of the residence, you are liable for your portion. Go ahead,
She
counselor.
should have thought about that before she told me to leave. She threw the mattress out the window.
Out of anger one night.
One night? I'm not going to engage in no toxic behavior like
come
that.
Back, you could have let it cool off a couple of days.
No, you threw a mattress out a window.
Why
You're
did she
a
throw
fourth
it
grade
out?
teacher.
Why did she throw it out?
Because I'm trying to sleep, and she's accusing me of cheating.
Because you're trying to sleep, she threw it out.
Yes. She accused me of cheating, threw out the mattress out the window. I said, oh, I'm out. Because if you're going to throw out my mattress, what else will you throw?
Ma'am, did you tell him never to come back?
No, I did not. If he was going to sleep outside, it was only supposed to be for one night.
If this was the other way around, sir, and
it's not, though. It's not.
It's not. But if it
Let's go with the way it is. Let's go with the way it is. You believe because she caught you cheating and made you sleep outside, like a woman might make a man sleep in the garage, sleep on the couch, sleep whatever. She gave you a mattress. She was nice enough to at least give you a mattress. That's nice of you. When you throw a man out, you at least give him something to sleep on.
Yes,
You're a good woman. I like that about you. See, men, if you want a nice woman, here she is. When you mess up and get through out, she'll at least have a mattress there for you to lay on.
Going to drink.
You should say thank you. Have a good day. $2,550 is your judgment. He abandoned the tenancy and therefore left you holding the bag by yourself. Whether your name is on it or not, if there's a tenancy established, and there is a tenancy established, folks, anytime you stay with someone over 30 to 60 days, typically. It's up to the judge to decide whether he wanted to conclude it was a tenancy, and it's typical 30 to 60 days, a judge will say, well, there's a tenancy. So be careful, y'all, when you go visit your relatives, don't stay more than 30 days, or you're going to have to pay forever. You're going to be a tenant. Be careful, folks, on who you let stay more than 30 days. Have a good day. Judgment for the plaintiff.
All rise.
Judge Mathis has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant has been ordered to pay $2,550.
Where you come from, it's about where you're going. From a jailed youth who had my record expunged to becoming the youngest judge elected.
The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding.
In just 15 years. Ma'am, let me know when you want to go to rehab. Otherwise, I think you're a crackhead.
Absolutely not.
My goal is to inspire others to overcome their obstacles. You don't need him and his little raggedy roommate.
Thank you.
All while having a little fun on Mathis Court. You look like you're ready to lie right the first word out your mouth. This is Mathis Court with Judge Mathis.
David Peeler is suing Cynthia Walker in the amount of $614.26.
All rise. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may be seated.
Mr. Peeler claims his ex-girlfriend's son got them kicked out of a wrestling event and says Ms. Walker should reimburse him for the pricey tickets.
State your name.
David Peeler.
Ma'am.
Cynthia Walker.
All right, sir, you're suing the defendant for $614.26, alleging that she is responsible for the cost of wrestling tickets.
Yes, Your Honor.
Start with you. Give me some background. How do you know her?
I'm David. I live in Raleigh, North Carolina. Cynthia, now my ex-girlfriend. Her and I met at a wrestling tournament. Her son wrestles, Jacob, and mine, Marcus, wrestles as well. And at a high school wrestling tournament, we struck up a conversation, kind of hit it off a little bit, exchanged info, and then we started dating. We dated for 4 or 5 months, around that time frame. So I thought, my kid wrestles, her son Jacob wrestles, and it could be like a bonding thing. So I asked her if I could take them all to a wrestling tournament, a professional wrestling tournament, and I purchased these tickets, which were over $600. And we showed up.
Did you all break up? Before or after that?
This was afterwards.
All right. Let me hear from you, and then I'll get back to where you stopped. Ma'am?
I'm Cynthia Walker from Raleigh, North Carolina. Yes, we met at a wrestling tournament. Both our sons are wrestlers, and we connected, went on a couple dates, decided to start dating, and he offered to take the boys to a wrestling tournament.
How was dating? How did the dating go over the several months?
It went pretty good. We had a few instances where he felt that he could share with me how to raise my son, and that was not okay, but everything besides that.
He was living with you?
No, just there was some instances that he wanted to speak up and share, and that was not his place. But besides that, everything in the relationship was great.
And that happened more than a couple of times?
About 2 times.
I said 2 little things to you one time because your kid keeps getting into fights and he has a horrible temper and anger issue. And I backed off because I realized it wasn't my place since it was so new, but I did not try to overstep my bounds at all. That's not true.
No.
Is that true? Your son has a temper issue?
Teenagers all have,
That's not true.
some
That's not
emotions.
True. No, I'm not going to let you tell me that about all teenagers. That's not true. Now, let's get back to your son. Does your son have a temper issue?
He does, and we are working on it.
Okay, how?
We are seeing a therapist.
All right, how long?
How long? He started about 6 months ago.
Okay. And that was after the incident we're here for?
Yes.
Okay. I'll just tell parents, if you know your child has a problem and you don't get it treated, and your child does something to harm someone or someone's property, you could be held liable to parent. Because parent, you knew he had a problem and you didn't go and get it treated. So you were negligent, parent. You weren't negligent, at least after the incident.
After that, yes.
Because you took your child for counseling. So hats off to you, and I wish a lot of other mothers, I hope a lot of other mothers take this route who have the same type of challenge. My mother should have done the same for me, but this was the 70s. They didn't even diagnose stuff that was going on. But I'm convinced I have attention deficit right now. And as a child, however, when you have attention deficit hyperactivity, it becomes frustrating to you. Your mind, it kind of goes a lot of different ways. So it's easy to upset you. You're impulsive, you're violent, and impulse is one of the main things, and your mind. And so, I was a troubled kid. Those are the things parents need to understand. Get them through that tough part. Find a way to help them manage it when they're an adult, and you can become successful. If they need to be medicated, which some do, perhaps so. I may have needed it when I was a child, but nonetheless, thank you for doing that. Thank you for allowing us the opportunity to educate the public and to know that a responsible mother goes to get help.
Coming up on Mathis Court with Judge Mathis.
Whatever you're doing, you feel better, don't you?
I do.
And young people and parents, the young man feels good.
And later,
he called me his one and only. He called me wifey status. He said he loved me. I have these texts proving that.
What do you mean words are words? Words are used to
communicate. Correct.
Correct. And it should be communicating the truth.
if you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to bring your case to court, call 1-888-552-6878.
You're watching Mathis Court with Judge Mathis.
Mathis Court is back with the case of David Peeler, who is suing Cynthia Walker for $614.26.
Stand up for me, please, young man. State your name.
Jacob Walker.
What do you want to tell me about yourself, your past, your present, your commitment, your beliefs in yourself, about yourself? What do you want to tell me?
Well, Your Honor, I think I've been through a lot over these past few years. I was on the wrestling team, but I think we've had to look at some of the behavior I displayed during my time, during my adolescence. But I think with the actions we've taken, I've grown a lot. I'm not the same person I was back when I was a freshman, for example. I want to go to college. I want to have a control over my emotions and over who I am. I want to be kind and respectful, and that's what I'm working on.
And whatever type of therapy you are engaged in, whatever type it might be, you don't have to determine. We don't have to say whether it's medicated or whether it's just consistent counseling. Whatever you're doing, you feel better, don't you?
I do.
And young people and parents, the young man feels good. He feels better. And many times, folks who are afflicted with disorders, they don't feel good a lot of the times during the day. They feel angry. I can recall, I just get angry and there was no reason. And am I right? You just have these emotions and you don't know what the deal is. And so he has done what it took with his mother's referral to make himself feel better. And so hats off to you. For being a young man who doesn't worry about any stigmas, anyone saying, you can tell them, well, you can stigma me all you want. I feel good. I don't care what you think. As bad as I used to feel, now that I'm feeling this way, you want some of what I'm doing? Because you'll feel a lot better and stop criticizing me. All right, yes, so there you have it. Sir, so what happened with the $600 that caused you to sue? With the wrestling.
So we get to the wrestling event, we make it past security, didn't even get to our seats or anything. There was a food cart there that my son, Marcus, and Jacob said they were going to go get some like snacks or something like that and a drink. I went to the bathroom really quick. As soon as I came back out, my son was walking up to me, and then I look over about 10 feet, and I could tell that Jacob was in a verbal altercation with the cashier that was working at the little cart there. And then this all happened in like a split second. Jacob pushes this guy. The cashier pushed him back. And then they started to get into a physical fight. And at the same time, I'm running over there to try to break it up. Out of the corner of my eye, I see security running over too. We're able to separate them. I'm trying to calm Jacob down, but he's all amped up and obviously pissed and angry. He just got into a fight. The security guard just said, I can't deal with this. You guys got to leave. I asked him if I could get a refund because, we hadn't even gotten to our seats or anything, and it was a lot of money. He said, no. He said he's part of your group there. He caused this fight. You guys got to go.
And how much were the tickets each?
A little over $200 each after tax.
But you knew he had temperament issues. You had been around enough. If you knew or should have known. You knew enough to say something to her about him.
He's also not my kid, and I'm trying to be cognizant of that
your
fact.
Control, sir.
He was,
He's
and that's why I tried to go help.
Control.
I tried to go help. I tried to diffuse it, and it's the reason why we're here is the accountability lack of.
Why did you all break up and when?
It was this situation. Yeah,
Not really.
this
It wasn't
incident.
over this. It wasn't over that. It's over something else. If he really was into you, he would accept that.
He is the one that stepped away. So
Yeah, because instead he quit you and now suing you.
Yep.
That's his response to a child who has a anger problem.
Yep.
Which gets into fights. Not, I'll serve as a good example to him. I'll try and take him with me under my wings and start playing sports with him, start doing things, talking to him. No. Hey! He got into a fight. Give my money. Give my money.
pretty much
Don't
that's
call
what
me
he's
no more.
doing.
I was just coming over here to get me some for the last year. I wasn't buying all this. And now that I know he crazy, I ain't coming back over here. Because he might pop up any night while I'm sleeping here with you. No. And have fun with those type of remarks, young man.
Yeah.
They, like I tell you, they call me crazy, Judge Gregory Mathis, and they still do. But I don't mind people calling me crazy. I'm crazy. All right, this crazy and did me well. A lot more of y'all need to be crazy. I need to put this in the bottle and sell it if this is what life brings you. In any event, sir, he was under your supervision and he's a minor. You knew he had a disorder or you knew he had a problem, whether it's the extent of it or not. You knew he had a problem with violence and anger.
Well, we didn't break up just because of him. It was her response to the entire thing.
To him. Her response to him.
Well, and we're still getting to know each other as well. That's a very short dating period.
I was defending my child.
You took no accountability.
Judge Mathis has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's claim has been dismissed.
I was defending my child, and you just want money.
You and your child cannot take accountability for your actions, and he's probably going to end up in prison. So good luck with that.
Coming up.
So then it got more serious. We would see each other like 3 times a week, texting in the morning and the evening, seeing each other outside of just at
Sex.
home. Yeah.
You're watching Mathis Court with Judge
Mac Williams is suing Natasha Hillard, the amount of $600. Mr. Williams claims he asked Miss Hillard to come see him perform at a musical residency and says the defendant's behavior cost him his dream gig.
State your name.
Mac Williams, sir.
Natasha Hillard.
All right, and sir, you are suing the defendant for $600, alleging she owes you this money because of her behavior at a performance, which caused you to lose your job.
That is correct.
Start with you. Where do you know her from?
Natasha and I met about 5 years ago at a bar that I was performing at. I'm a working musician, sir, so I've accepted all type of gigs and jobs just to keep my career afloat.
What instrument do you play, or do
I
you
play
sing?
guitar. Yes, I play guitar.
Let me hear from you, ma'am. Give me some background.
We met 5 years ago, yes, after one of his gigs, and immediately fell for one another. We got to talking about arts. I am a dancer, and we just hit it off. And
Did he try to be intimate with you that first night?
no, not that first
Okay.
night. But we talked. It was like one of those nights where we talked for
Did
hours
you or
and
not?
hours.
No.
Okay. Go ahead.
But we spent the next couple of days together, and yeah, then it got physical, and the connection was there. But I knew he had to go on the road, so I understood. It was casual for many years. But then he was he settled into Baltimore for a while. So then it got more serious. We would see each other like 3 times a week, texting in the morning and the evening, seeing each other outside of just at
Sex.
home. Yeah. And that's, he called me his one and only. He called me wifey status. He said he loved me. I have
Your Honor,
these texts
words
proving
are words.
that
There's never any...
What do you mean words are words? Words are used to
communicate, correct.
Correct.
We never
And it should be communicating the truth.
And we
Are
never
you saying you weren't communicating the truth?
Coming up.
You weren't dating?
Yes, we were.
Were you
For 6
dating
months.
July 2nd?
We were non-exclusive.
I didn't ask you that before. I asked you, were you dating?
Were we hanging out, hooking up?
I asked dating.
No.
You're watching Mathis Court with Judge Mathis.
Closed captioning.
This is Mathis Court with Judge Mathis.
Mathis Court is back with the case of Mac Williams, who is suing Natasha Hillard for lost wages.
Your Honor, I'm saying that we never stated verbally that we were together. I never said I am your man, I am your boyfriend, and she is my
Yeah,
girlfriend.
but what am I supposed to be led to believe when,
Let's
like,
see
we
what
are?
you have. Amir, let me see what you have. He said words are words, so either they're true or they're not. That's what words, the difference with words are only if it's true or not. Hey, gorgeous, with a little kiss there. I landed that residency at the Waterside venue. Waterside, downtown Baltimore. It is beautiful. Oh my God, you're an official rock star, you say. I'll have to give you a tour of my dressing room, he says. That's groupie behavior. I'm gonna need a commitment before that. You use that to get a commitment? Girl, you know you're my one and only. Future wifey status.
Future.
Please, I really need rock star wife energy in the crowd.
Again, Your Honor, not once did those say we were together. That is me trying to get a
wifey
supporter.
Status.
That is me attempting to get a supporter.
How long had you all been dating at this time?
We have been dating for 0 amount of days because we were
they
not
had
dating.
been dating, ma'am?
No, 6 months.
July 2nd, you weren't dating?
Yes, we were.
Were
For
you
6
dating
months.
July 2nd?
We were non-exclusive.
I didn't ask you that before. I asked you, were you dating?
Were we hanging out, hooking up?
I asked dating.
No.
Okay, you weren't dating, but yet you say future wifey status. You say that to regular women? Do you say that to all the women that you hang out with?
How will Judge Mathis rule? Find out when Mathis Court returns.
You're watching Mathis Court with Judge Mathis.
Your Honor, respect.
I'm asking you a question. Do you say that to all the women that you just regularly hang out with? Do you tell them you have future wifey status?
Yes.
Rock star wife.
I'm a rock star.
So all of them have future wifey status?
Potential.
No, that's not what you said. You said it definitively. Future wifey status. Let me explain something to you. I'm a wordsmith. This is what I do for a living. So these word games you're trying to play with me will go nowhere. Now, what are you suing her for?
$600.
For what?
Can I get there? Moving forward, I have to present this.
No, you can't. Contempt. Get out of here. Your case is dismissed. I done told you about talking slick to me. Can I get there? Bye-bye. Don't talk to a judge like that anymore. Get out of here. Case dismissed.
Judge Mathis has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's claim has been dismissed.
I guess you'll just never win.
I'll be in your DMs next week, ma'am.
Oh, yeah, right. Okay.
In his driveway?
Yes, that's
All
correct.
right. Tell me what happened.
Yes, I'm an interior designer, and I went over to his house to give him some consultations for his man
All right,
cave.
I know that's right.
Yes.
All right,
And,
you give me consultation on how to dress. Like your orange outfit.
Thank you, thank you. So what I do is I assist my clients with helping them pick out colors and patterns and designs for their home. Mr. Charlie, he wanted to make a man cave for his basement. So I decided to go ahead and assist him with that. We came up with some ideas, some prices. He said he wanted to put a pool table, a 70-inch TV, and he also wanted room for a TV in his bathroom. I said I have no
He didn't
problem.
ask you to help him how to dress because he's sharp today.
Ooh.
Did he dress like that before knowing you? See, you gave him some style too. Like, you sharp,
Well, Everything was working fine. He agreed to all the plans and everything until it was time for me to leave. My ride share came to pick me up. They came at the wrong house. They came to the neighbor's house by mistake. And when I told them that I was coming down and I was walking to get in my ride share, that's when I went down. I fell down in his driveway. He came running out. He did come and try to assist me.
But did he feed you drinks while you were in there decorating?
No, Your
You didn't give
Honor.
her, she didn't take a drink, sir?
I did give her some libation.
Mm-hmm. And then she fell out and I wanted to sue you.
Well, she wasn't alcohol.
Give me your, oh.
Yeah, just, pop drinks and such.
I'm talking about something that would affect her walk.
Sorry.
Let's get over to you now. Okay. I'm gonna have some fun with you. Tell me what happened.
So I invited Miss Sanders over to advise me as to building out my man cave. I wanted a man cave so the guys can come over, get a 70 or 80-inch TV, sectional, pool table, poker table, put it in a little bathroom. And she did that, advised me. While she was doing that...
How much? Just curious how much that cost.
I think she said about $3,000.
3,000?
But she didn't give me that cost right away.
All right, because I want a man cave. Maybe you can come to my house, but you got to dress down. My wife ain't going to have you coming in there with her husband looking like that.
Oh, my goodness. Well,
But
Your Honor.
you dress down and you can come give us one. All right.
Okay.
Go right ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, so anyway, I think the $3,000 was just for her services, and as well, there's, the construction was going to cost more. So.
Okay. How much was I'm just really want to know.
Advise me
construction cost.
Yes,
What do you think that would have been? Or what was it? Over 10?
I'm thinking another 5.
5,000. Yeah. So then with hers 3. Okay, yeah, I can't go over 10, man. Okay. You might have a deal there. Well, we got to see what the end of this is. How did her work look? I know she's suing you for falling.
Yes, she's
How
suing me
did
for
her
falling.
Work come out?
And well, she advised some things. She likes bright colors, as you can see. Mm-hmm. I'm kind of more maybe an earth tones guy, so I wasn't sure if it was hitting it off. But we had a nice little consultation, and she was on her phone the whole time. And she was taking some pictures, but she was also down, answering some text or something. So
she must be under 40.
Yeah, maybe she's 20. But
the millennials,
she does look
that's
very
under
young.
40 millennials, and then we know the Generation Z, is it? We know that they stay on those phones.
Yeah.
So that's all.
I had to take pictures and take notes of the things that he said that he liked for his home and show with him ideas that I had in mind. So that's the only reason why I was on my phone.
Okay, because you come across very professional.
But as she was leaving, I told her, watch out for the sidewalk, because there was some damage on the sidewalk and some of the driveway. And there's a large red cone there. But she wasn't listening to me, really. And then she started heading toward the sidewalk. And I walked past the window in front of my house, and I just happened to see her walking into that area. So I ran out to tell her again, but she slipped and fell. And I ran outside to help her get up and offer her some
He never told
aspirin.
me to watch where I walked the sidewalk when I left his house.
You tell me what happened with the fall, ma'am.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell. Yeah, he needs to stop lying.
Mathis Court with Judge Mathis.
Mathis Court is back with the case of Sasha Sanders, who is suing Charlie Nichols for personal injury.
The plans that we had, I did send you some prices, and I told him, we agreed on everything, and he was going to call me back the following day. However, my ride share called up to pick me up, and they was at the neighbor's house by mistake, Your Honor. And I went out there because they had messaged me, and they told me that they were going to leave in 5 minutes. That's why I was looking at my phone when I went outside, because they were at the wrong house. So I messaged them back.
You had your phone in your hand walking.
And I told them that I was coming.
Looking at your phone while walking.
Well,
that's what you just said.
Yeah.
You just told me that.
I was looking at my phone while I was walking, but he did not come outside and say, "Oh, watch on for the sidewalk."
He said he told you on the way out. He never said watch the sidewalk.
No, he didn't tell me that.
I did. Was there a cone out there?
Well, I did see a cone up on this drive, up some, but it wasn't on the area where I was walking. So it was pushed up some.
Was it in the area that needed repair, or had been in the midst of repair?
It was pushed to the side of the repair area.
There was a cone. There is a cone. I'm sorry to interrupt, Your Honor. Mm-hmm. There is a cone, and I have some evidence, some pictures of.
Let's see it, please.
So, appreciate it.
Yeah, but
Thank
the
you.
cone wasn't where the area where the damage was at.
It's very close to that
If the
area.
floor is wet, if it's
Very
a
close
wet
to that
floor,
area.
they're going to put the
It's
sign
very
where it says
close
wet,
to that
where the
area.
water is, not to the side.
And it's
so why would you put it
it's
say
an
close
orange cone,
to it? Close
almost
to
as
it
bright
is not
as her,
the
it's
same
as bright
thing.
than her dress. It's about as bright as
Close
her
is
dress.
not where the exit, where it's at, okay? Because if you would have put the cone where the damage was at, then I would have not walked on the damage because the cone would have been in the
I
way.
don't see how you
not
missed
to
the
the
cone.
side of the damage.
I don't see how you missed the cone.
No, I don't see how. Why
There's
would you
even
put
a
the
little
cone on
caution
the
tape
side?
there, but it's not a lot.
No, the caution tape was not up. Where was it tied to? Where was it tied to?
One end of it's tied to the cone. So
To the cone and to what?
it's just
To the
hanging
ground?
down there. It's, on the ground.
Blowing in the wind? I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry. That's not what's going on.
I'm looking at the picture.
Yes, thank you.
And the cone is certainly about 2 feet away from the damage on the sidewalk.
Okay, 2 feet.
That's my point. You are right. It's on the side. It's not where it should be.
Yeah.
And
It has been a little
because
bit more.
it doesn't block a person from the purpose of a cone is to block a person from that part of a property. And that's not what this does. This blocks them from a different part of the property. The accident happened on the sidewalk. The cone is in the driveway. And you would have to, unless she's walking to the driveway, she had no reason to see, well, she might see the cone, but she had no reason to really see the sidewalk. And if she was blind, as she must be, if she didn't see that cone. You didn't see that cone, you must be blind.
I didn't see it.
Stevie Wonder could see that cone.
I did not see it, but
I had to stop that. Stevie watches me all the time. I'm sorry, Stevie. I hope you hear that joke all the time. No. My point is, ma'am, there's a law in the law. I know you think you're about to win, but in the law we have something called open and obvious. Now, forewarning is enough. Had the cone been in the right place, it would have been enough. However, this is so much damage.
I also have a video.
If you were walking straight and looking straight and not at your phone, you would see this. This is open and obvious. It's, for example, if a person in the grocery store, you go in the grocery store, and this never happens, I'm sure, I'm exaggerating. You go in the grocery store and somehow the floor is caved in. And you're going up the aisle and the floor is caved in. Well, whether you saw it or not, it was open and obvious. So if you walked into it, it's because you were negligent. And in this case, you fell because you were looking at your phone, like you've said, and you were negligent. This damage is open and as obvious as you can see it, other than with a big, deep hole. It looks like you might fall into a hole if you walk over this.
It was inside, basically a hole. I didn't see it, Your Honor.
Because you were on your phone like the rest of the kids.
Oh, my God.
Walking across the street when the light is about to turn red, you're still on your phone, not even looking up.
Point exactly.
People trying to walk up and down the street.
They
bumping into you because you going the other way.
I didn't want to stay over there in his man cave, Your Honor. I didn't want to miss my ride share. So I had to respond. And
you didn't have to walk over the dangerous sidewalk that anybody can see.
Nobody couldn't see it. It wasn't labeled.
I'm looking at it, ma'am. I just looked at it. And that's what it is in the picture he gave me. It's on the side. Everything you just said is correct. How about that?
Okay.
All right. The only thing is you should have been able to see that damaged sidewalk was right in front of your face. Unless, like you say, you're on the phone. So you got one of the kids that's going to have to pay for being on the phone when you're walking, talking, or doing work. Have a good day. Your claim is dismissed. You should have saw it. It was open and obvious based on the picture I just saw. Have a good day.
All rise.
Judge Mathis has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's claim has been dismissed.
State your name.
My name is Catherine Miller.
Sir?
Davis.
All right, and ma'am, you're suing Mr. Davis for $500, saying you needed a trip to the hospital because of some marijuana oils or something that he gave you?
Yes.
Okay. Give me some background on it.
Okay. My granddaughter knew this man for about 2 years, and I suffer from arthritis.
Hold on, this is marijuana? What did you say your name was? The first name?
Herb.
In this case, it's about marijuana.
It's CBD, Your Honor.
It don't get you high. Ain't no THC in it.
It's only 0.2% of THC.
Okay. So tell me how you all know each other. Give me all the way back some credibility that you might have that might convince me that you're telling the truth versus him, because you all are saying two different things.
Okay. I have a granddaughter. Her name is Haley. And so she had met Herb about 2 years ago or more. And she had a shoulder injury. And so by me having arthritis, she said, grandmother, I can refer somebody to you that can help you with your arthritis. And he uses these oils to massage you and help you to maybe alleviate some of the pain with your arthritis, you know. And so I said, okay. She said, well, I'm going to give you his phone number. And when I took the phone number, I called him, and he scheduled me for June the 22nd of 2022 at 2 p.m. And so the only background that I really truly had about him was through my granddaughter, Haley. And so after I made the appointment, he came over to my house, and he had the massage table, he had the oils and the towels and everything. And
sounds like he was a good businessman.
Yeah,
good.
He sounded like he was. Yeah, you know. But anyway, so I trusted my granddaughter's judgment, you know, and what she had told me concerning his background. But I would later learn that he wasn't who he was claiming to be, you know. So he turned out.
You all right?
Oh yeah.
That weed still affecting you?
Judge,
He's not who he's claiming. Nobody's raised their voice. Nobody's saying, you looked at the man like he had just attacked you or something. The young man is sitting there very calm and collected and sophisticated. I'm proud to hear that you have a business for yourself and you go out and give treatment. Proud to hear that. And she just suddenly out the blue. You bipolar or something?
Yeah, but he's
talking. She was just, you know, Your Honor, and such and such and such. And then suddenly just flipped out.
He's not really who he's pretending to be.
That's the way you
he's
say
a cashier. He's a cashier. He's not really. He doesn't even really have a license to be a massage therapist. So he's
How do you know?
phony.
You ask?
He's a shyster.
Ma'am.
He's a two-bit liar.
Ma'am, I'm speaking to you. You're starting to make me think what I was kidding about is real, and that is something wrong with you. All right, I was kidding about it, but you're acting a little odd. So, once again, did you ask him whether he had a massage license?
No.
All right. So, how do you know he doesn't?
Well,
So you're casting aspersions on the young man's business.
No.
That's what you're doing. Now you're hurting his business. You say he didn't, and you have no clue whether he does or not. He says he does. And the professionalism he's displaying versus what you're displaying today, he's going to get all the anything that was on the fence. He's going to get everything that's on the fence, because so far I think he's a more credible person, and he ain't said but 2 words. It's the things
Your
you
Honor,
have
I'm not
said.
licensed.
Let me allow you to go ahead and speak, young man, from the beginning in which she stated.
Well, originally, I received a phone call from Ms. Miller on the 21st. She let me know that she was wanting to schedule the regular that I give her granddaughter for the 22nd. She then let me know that she was having some arthritis. And so, obviously, the given procedure for that would be the CBD oil. The oil only contains 0.2% of THC. It's actually not enough to get you high. As well, you can't get high through skin contact.
Okay. And tell me about the agreement and what service you provided.
So I gave her the 45-minute massage. And she fell asleep about 20 minutes into the procedure. After the procedure, she awoke and she was expressing that she was dizzy. I helped her up. I offered her some water. She refused, and she was, becoming really angry with me. So I just decided to back off.
Okay. Now, this may not be the case because you're probably going to want to be bougie about your products, but the same amount of THC that you have in the products that you provide, is it in the same thing as over-the-counter CBD?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so the stuff over the counter has that 0.02 THC in it.
Correct.
But you can't get high off of it just by skin contact.
No.
But if I ate a bunch of the CBD oil, I can get high.
You would have to consume a lot.
Like what? You don't know how much I can handle.
Maybe like 4 or 5.
4 or 5 what?
Of the containers.
All right. I was just curious because it's on every shelf. In every drugstore, people are buying it. And what happened to you when you used it to cause you to want to sue him? Because you said you had to go to the hospital.
Yes, I did. After he massaged my neck, I fell asleep rather quickly. And then after I woke up, I became somewhat suspicious because he was kind of looking strange at me. And so all of a sudden, I started to feel lightheaded. And then when I felt lightheaded, he asked me, how was the massage? And I said, it was good, but my joints are not hurting anymore, but I feel lightheaded. So after I felt lightheaded, all of a sudden I felt nauseated, like I wanted to vomit.
She was dehydrated, Your Honor. Yeah, she was dehydrated.
How do you know?
I could tell. It's common with my customers.
Okay.
I did offer her water, but she didn't take it.
Ma'am, did you drink any water?
I did not.
Was steam involved at all, or was it hot inside? I mean,
no.
Is that part of it? Okay, it's
No.
not part of the process. I don't get massages. I just don't have the patience to lay there.
Not for this particular massage.
I just
No
can't
heat.
lay there for 30 minutes, and that's it. And nope. Okay. So what did you do after you felt that way? Because you went to the hospital.
Yes, after that, I called my daughter. My granddaughter wasn't there. It was my daughter that was there, but she was in another room. And so I called my daughter and let her know what was going on. I told her I felt like I couldn't breathe because my heart was racing, it was palpitating. And so...
How did he owe you money, man? What did he do to you?
Well, when I had the heart palpitations, I was vomiting, and the doctor said it was panic attacks and dehydration. And so when he said that, I felt like I had been violated because I felt like the drug had got into my system.
Violated as in what? He intentionally?
He tricked me.
Why?
Like the trickster that he is.
Why do you think he did it, ma'am?
Okay, you know what? Because he didn't tell me it had weed in it.
Why do you think he did it? You said he tricked you as if he did it on purpose to mislead you.
He did.
Why? Why do you think he would do that to you?
Because I think he's a crook.
Okay, and being a crook, what makes him want to do that to you?
Because he just wants to hurt somebody that he knows is weaker than he is.
Okay. So you think that's the type of person he is generally?
Yes. He
All right.
seems
Who
good
referred
from
you to
the
him?
outside,
Who referred
but he's
you?
not.
Ma'am.
Yes.
Who referred you to him?
My granddaughter.
Okay, and she didn't tell you that?
No.
Okay, so blame your granddaughter and get your money from your granddaughter.
Oh my
goodness.
goodness.
You just told me that the doctor told you it was dehydration, just like he said it was. Bye. Bye.
Judge Mathis has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's claim has been dismissed.
With Judge Mathis.
Ashley Herrera is suing Tiffany Silva in the amount of $847.16. Miss Herrera claims she enrolled her daughter at her cousin's dance studio and says Miss Silva criticized and told her teen lies. Miss Silva is countersuing for $720.
All rise. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may be seated. Both litigants have been sworn in.
Thank you. State your name.
Ashley Herrera.
Ma'am?
Tiffany Silva.
All right, and ma'am, you're suing the defendant for $847.16.
That's correct.
Because you allege she is responsible for your daughter dropping out of a dance class. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And you are countersuing?
Yes.
For $720.
Yes.
Alleging that the plaintiff's daughter caused trouble.
She made the choice to drop her daughter out of the dance
And so
competition.
why you feel you're entitled to $720?
Because I feel I helped her and I gave her a discount, which I didn't have to. And I'm countersuing for the amount that she owes me for those 6 months that I discounted her, the price of the classes.
Okay. Give me some background. Start with you.
Okay, well, we're in Orlando, Florida, and she's my cousin. And my daughter was going through a time where she was not having friends and low self-esteem and just going through things. And it was her idea that she goes to her dance class, and I agree because I remember in school she was really good at it. I took her to therapy and stuff, but...
That's what I was going to ask, whether she was a therapist.
Yeah, she was seeing a therapist.
She's a therapist?
No, I'm not. I'm a dance instructor. I'm
I
sorry.
know. I thought you might have been doing both. A lot of people have 2 jobs.
I mean...
Because that's what I was going to suggest. That's what your daughter needed, really. If she had low self-esteem, one of the things she needed is someone to figure out perhaps why that is. And so tell me about the dance class.
So it's contemporary dance. I don't know much, but my daughter does. All I know is that it was working.
Okay.
But 6 months ago, I was having trouble with work. I'm a hairstylist, and so I told her I have to take her out because I couldn't afford it, and she said, "Don't worry about it." You know.
No, I never said that. I'm sorry, Jackson, but I never said that.
If you want, I could read it clear from the text message that you sent.
No, yeah, you go ahead and you.
Is that okay, Your Honor?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so here she wrote, because I was explaining that I don't really have money, and then you said, "Oh, I have a solution." I said, "Well, $240 a month," and then, I said it's out of my budget, and you said, "Just pay me half." And I go, "Are you sure?"
Yes, that is correct. I offer you a discount at
But
that
you just
time.
said that you didn't say that.
Yes, no.
She didn't say that. She didn't say that. She's saying what she said. $120 a month is what you all agreed to.
Yes.
But we were talking about you pulling your daughter out because you couldn't afford it at all.
So there was a competition coming up, and it was expensive. I had to buy her costumes, and then I had to pay for plane tickets. And at that point, I'm just maxing out my credit cards. You know, it was a complete sacrifice, but she's doing so well in the class and all these things. But then my daughter comes home, and she's crying and hysterical, and it was odd for me because usually she has fun when she comes back. And she was saying that she was off mark and that she kept messing up and that perhaps it's because she's chasing the boys like her mama.
She told you that?
She told Bianca that. And I thought that was completely out of order. You know, like, I'm in shock.
She said that to your daughter?
Yes.
And your daughter came home and told you?
Yes.
Yeah. Go ahead. And how did you respond to that?
I was vexed. I went over to her office. I got crazy, you know, but how can she do that? This is my cousin.
What did I do? I didn't do anything.
You embarrassed her in front of everybody in the class.
I didn't.
You give me some background, ma'am, on the agreement and how it went during the dance sessions and whether you said anything negative about her mother.
I didn't. I pulled her out alone and I had a real conversation with her. She was messing up my whole choreography. She fell during the pirouettes. She was going too slow on the kick and ball change all the time.
But she was new.
No, she wasn't. She had been going for a year at that point, and there was a dance competition.
That's new for some people.
No, yeah, okay, that's new for some people, yes. But I wasn't, what I'm trying to say is I wasn't being too hard. She was distracted. It was obviously that she was distracted. And I just was doing the best for her as family.
What did you say to her when you pulled her out?
That I would hate for you to not perform as well because of all this noise and these boys and all this silliness. Like she was
the boys that the young lady was involved with,
yes.
not that her mother was involved.
I mean, her mother. I mean, come on, her mother. We all know, and I'm not lying right now.
We all know.
We all know
this
her
woman.
mother also went through the same things.
You should see during holidays. This is just complete madness.
Sue you for defamation, ma'am.
It's not defamation because it's true. We both
That's the number one defense to defamation is truth.
But I heard that, and it's true. We can all agree about that. But anyway.
See, she's not agreeing. You talking about we can all agree that she's a loose woman or whatever.
Well, she's denying that because it's convenient for her. She's denying that because she did something that wasn't right, which is coming to my office and being like waving her hands all over my face. She was disrespecting me. So I had to put a stop to it.
She busted in your office after her daughter told you what she said. I'm sure she did. And what did she say when she came into your office? What was she saying to you?
Well, she was saying a lot of
craziness. What you told her daughter?
No, she was saying a lot of craziness. Things,
like what?
Things
About
out of
what?
order. Like that I speak gossip, and I don't think that's true. I don't think that speaking your truth makes you a criminal, Your Honor.
You said you heard from someone else.
From my mom.
My mom. Your mom likes to gossip. Your mama gossip. What makes you think your mama don't gossip? Your mama gossip just like anybody else. She might gossip more. Does she work full time?
No,
does your mother work full? You brought her into this. Does your mother work full time?
She does. Your
What
Honor.
does she gossip to at work then?
This is not gossip.
She gonna get fired.
She witnessed it. She grew up with her mom, which is the sister, and she saw it. And because of it...
She saw what? What exactly did she see?
Fooling around and dropping out. I'm sorry, I was just doing the best for the daughter, and I didn't intend to harm her. I was doing this to protect her, because it also affects my business.
You needed some protection, I'm sure, after you just said that to that woman and she busted in your office. What did she say then?
I have been so kind to them. I gave them a discount.
Oh, really? Pulling a young lady aside and telling her that her mother has wild ways.
I didn't say that. I didn't say
not
that.
being good to them.
I didn't say that.
Your Honor.
The essence, you even admitting it.
I didn't say that.
You admitting it. Everybody knows what she does. We can all agree.
But
Nobody
that
knows
wasn't
this
the
woman.
point. That wasn't the point of that
It is.
conversation.
It was the point when she busted in your office. I promise you.
No, that wasn't the point.
Oh, yes, it was.
Okay.
Why do you think she busted in your office disrespecting you? You talking about this young girl's mama to her. And
But I
she's young.
didn't-
She got to talk to
But I
her,
was talking
her
about
daughter
her.
about some gossip that you done got
That's
from your
not-
mama. But I'm not going to let you besmirch this woman in front of her daughter. So what is the lawsuit for, ma'am?
The lawsuit is to have for her to pay for my airplane tickets and to pay for the costumes because there were a lot of money.
Airplane tickets. What does that have to do with the dancing?
Well, they were in a competition, and the competition was that same month, and so it was required that we buy the costumes, which is very expensive, and then also the plane tickets.
Okay.
So all of it came to $847.16.
And even though you pulled your daughter out of the program, the dance class, because it was a hostile environment and she could no longer participate because of an environment she created.
Yes.
And you want compensation because had she not created a negative environment, your daughter would have participated and your money would have been used properly.
Yes.
And you wouldn't have lost all your money.
I wouldn't have lost all my money.
Ma'am, what do you say to that? She's making a lot of sense. Who would want to bring their child back somewhere where you're talking about her mama to her?
I wasn't talking about her mama.
You admitted that. Why do you say it? As we all know. Isn't that what you say? Isn't that how you said it? And we all know.
Not in front of the other girls, and I did not create a hostile environment. Everybody, I can bring witnesses.
Your
I can
Honor?
bring I have 50 clients, and they all enjoy very much.
pulled them to
And
the
even
side?
Bianca, she knows how much her life changed
Ma'am.
because of these dance classes.
Ma'am, when what amounts to kicking down your door after you talked about her daughter and came in there and verbally said it offended you in every manner she could, it was hostile, I promise you. I don't know if you know it or not.
She was hostile to me.
Yes, she was. So there was a hostile environment that you created by approaching her minor child, telling her minor child about her mother's grown-up activities in a detrimental way. That's what you did, and she shouldn't have went back. What's your counterclaim for? What you want money for?
Well, I give her a discount, and she's treating me disrespectfully again. And I didn't go to Bianca, okay, to talk about her mother. That was not the point of why I went to her.
It was my point, and the other point is your claim is dismissed and yours is granted. Have a good day. Now you talk about his mom and see how that worked out. All rise.
Judge Mathis has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant has been ordered to pay $847.16.
SFX dramatic gavel bang. Music, suspense music. Narrator, host, real people, real disputes, real consequences. Welcome to the real verdict, where truth meets judgment. SFX courtroom background ambiance. Judge, host or actor. Court is now in session. Our first case, a woman says she's owed 3 months' rent by someone she trusted as a friend. The defendant says there was no agreement. Let's hear both sides. Plaintiff, acted or narrated. We were friends for 4 years. I let him stay with me after his breakup. He promised to split rent starting in January, $600 each. I paid the full $1,200 for 3 months. He never paid a cent. When I asked, he said, I'm going through it right now, I'll pay next month. But now he's ghosting me like I'm the problem. Defendant, acted or narrated. She never gave me a lease. She said, you're my friend, I got you. I wasn't in the right space mentally. I helped her with errands, groceries, stuff she never mentions. She's just mad now because I moved out. Judge. Did you have any written agreement? Plaintiff. Do you have proof he agreed to pay rent? On screen. Screenshot of a text. Yeah, I'll start pitching in rent in Jan, just give me till the 10th. On screen. Bank statements showing full rent paid by plaintiff. On screen. Grocery receipt comparison defendant. Okay, I did say that, but I didn't sign anything, so it's not official, right? Judge. You're misunderstanding how agreements work. Oral contracts count too, especially with supporting evidence. SFX. Gavel bang. Judge, firmly. The text message confirms your intent. You benefited from living there without paying, and she covered everything. You owe her $1,800. Case closed. Judge, narrator. Friendship doesn't cancel responsibility. If you promise to pay, it's a deal. That's the law, and that's the real verdict. SFX. Short theme outro music. Narrator, host. Like what you saw? Subscribe for new cases every week, and drop a comment. Would you let a friend stay rent-free? This is the real verdict, where justice is streamed.